Hashem, Hashem Naaseh v'Natzliach, Shiur Torah, Baruch Hashem. We're back here in sunny Isles with our Sunday night shiur. Everyone can come up front. Lots of, Baruch Hashem, lots of interesting tests today that made me question whether to have the shiur or not, about, I would say, at least 15, 20 times, which means that we had to have it. Let's see. The shiur tonight will be for refuah shlema for my three little babies, Sarah bat Levana, Ovadia ben Levana, and Yosef ben Levana. All three, God bless them, are all sick with fevers. That's how it works when you have kids. Once one catches something, the rest of them sometimes follow, Baruch Hashem. So B'ezrat Hashem, they have refuah shlema, and the fever goes down, and the test is completed b'schut this shiur. Also for refuah shlema for my dear father, David ben Esriya, Doris bat Jora, Levana bat Sarah, Elisheva Chaya bat Sarah, Batya bat Sarah, and Dvora bat Mercedes, and all of Am Yisrael B'ezrat Hashem will have refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. So, while I was thinking about the shiur, since we've completed our series recently on bitachon, we haven't started a new Sunday series yet. But I know that the last time we did a shiur here about just a general topic, Baruch Hashem, was very popular. So sometimes it's better to do a series. Sometimes it's better to do something that's new every week. It's all Yad Hashem. Whatever Hashem tells us, that's what we do, Baruch Hashem. So some of the things, Baruch Hashem, that I have here are very interesting and very sensitive subjects, which means that those that seek the truth will probably like this shiur more than most, if not all, of the shiurim that we've done, if B'ezrat Hashem, Hashem gives us the zchut to say it the right way, and it teaches the Torah the right way, and it reaches your hearts, then I believe that this shiur will reach many, many hearts. And hopefully, B'ezrat Hashem, wake up a lot of slumbering neshamot, waking them up to the crimes that they're committing, sometimes without even knowing. On the other hand, those that are looking for excuses to continue living their life without anybody telling them what to do will probably hate this shiur more than any other shiur we've done, because it's not scary, but it's scary. Meaning it's not scary like the shiur we did a couple of years ago about Gehenom, that talks about all the gory things that happen to Reshaim that don't do tshuva. It's not scary like that, but it's scary because almost every single one of us is guilty of what I'm about to tell you. Which means that we're all here for a reason. Now, the Chazon Ish, Alav Shalom, in his extraordinary book, Emunah v'Bitachon, it's an unfinished book, but it's, for all argument's sake, for us, it's really finished. But he obviously intended on adding much more to it. But this is something that you probably have to read it 100 times just to understand it completely, or at least have a sense of what it says. But towards the end of the book, he breaks it up into prakim. In chapter 4, in section 12, he says something very interesting. He says, often the books of Musar set themselves a goal to ignite the light of refinement in a soul, seeing this light as a general cure for all the false tendencies together. says that all of the books of Musar that you're going to see, for example, you look at Mesilat Yesharim. Mesilat Yesharim, 26 chapters. Each chapter has something to do with a different midah, a different character trait. Alacrity, cleanliness, anger, and so on and so forth. Many say that the Mesilat Yesharim, the Ramchal Alav Shalom, wrote it with Ruach HaKodesh. 300 years ago, this is somebody that wasn't from this world, it seems like. The stuff that he said, in the beginning he says, I'm not here to bring you any chidushim. In reality, the whole book is a chidush. Even if you read it 1,000 times, some more chidushim. But you look the way he wrote it, each chapter has to do with a different character trait, a different midah. You look at Chovot and Levavot, same thing. You look at many of the Musar books, they break down things one at a time. But the Chazon Ish gives a chidush. A chidush that all of the Baalei Musar knew, but it seems like he's the one that's saying it to us today. He says there's one midah, there's one character trait that's stronger and more powerful than all of the character trait. To the extent that if you do it, if you actually overcome this and acquire this good midah, all of your midot get affected in a positive way. One midah. You do this, all of a sudden you're not as angry. All of a sudden you're not cheap. All of a sudden you're not as arrogant. All of a sudden you have all positive things. Everything starts improving. It's not perfect, but everything improves. One midah, get out of jail free card. On the other hand, if you don't acquire this midah, it doesn't matter what you do. All of your midot naturally get worse. Meaning, if you're angry, automatically you're much angrier. If you're cheap, it gets much worse. This guy, by the time the dollar comes out, the dollar has dust on it. George Washington says, wow, that's what light looks like. He's so cheap, never takes out a dollar out of his pocket. If he's arrogant, no one wants to walk next to him because his ego is bigger than him. All of the character traits get worse. What midah is this? The Chazon Ish says there's a reason why there's discrepancies between different students that learn Musar. Sometimes somebody learns Musar and boom, a fire. The guy becomes a tzaddik quickly. You tell him you have to watch your eyes, he watches his eyes. Tell him you watch your breath, he watches his breath. He falls a few times, but he gets up. Tell him you have to learn Torah every day. He says, how much? I say 2 hours. He says, oh, that's enough. Sometimes you see somebody, you tell him stuff, he does it. Doesn't happen very often. Don't get your head. Not happen. But sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you have these people, 500 times you have to tell them before they put on tefillin. The guy is listening to Shurim for 2.5 years, and he calls you on a Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Can I still put on tefillin now? What do you mean? I thought you started doing tshuva 2.5 years ago. What do you mean tefillin now? It's 5:30. The sun is going to sleep. Yeah, go put tefillin before it gets too late. The wife calls you. Oh, he's still yelling at me. What do you mean he's still yelling? He says he watched the entire series, Pirkei Avot. You watch the entire series, Pirkei Avot, you become Malach Hashem. How is he still yelling and screaming? What happened? Sometimes certain people, you could tell them the same thing 500 times. They're moving, they're improving, but not so much. They're like, like the turtle. Le'at le'at, one step at a time. Tell him, listen, you got to learn Torah, at least 2 hours a day. He goes, no, Rabbi, take it easy. I'm one step at a time. What one step at a time, Habibi? 20 years you're doing tshuva. What one step at a time? How long it's going to be one step at a time? You're 40 years old, you still don't even know what the Shas is. No, Rabbi, I'm still on Parashat Shavua. Okay, did you finish the Chumash? No, not yet. Not yet, I haven't finished the Chumash yet. Where are you? You up to maybe Dvarim, is that the last book? No, I'm struggling with Bereshit. 20 years he's struggling with Bereshit. Ma kara, lama so slow? So Chazon Ish says, Some people improve quickly, like mamash, fire, and some le'at, like almost like they're walking backwards. Lama? The reason is that the intensity of their light is not equal. One has a bright light, close to refinement of the soul, whereas another has a feeble light, far from strong. Why do these two people have two different lights? Why? The Chazon Ish says, it's not that they were both born in different neighborhoods. One guy's born in Bnei Brak, the other one is born in, Sela or something, in Netanya, where all the criminals are, or at least they used to be. No. It's not because of where they were brought up. It's not because he was born in Florida, the other guy in Yerushalayim. It's not because his parents are rabbis or his grandfather was a big tzaddik. It has nothing to do with that. What does that have to do with? The Chazon Ish says it has to do with one midah, one character trait, that every one of us could either acquire in a positive way or acquire in a negative way. What's that midah? Willpower. Do you want to change? The desire to change is the strongest midah of all midot. If you want to change, you will grow in spirituality like fire. Why? You want to change. So as soon as you hear something new, okay, Rabbi, it's hard, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to try to do this. Why? You got to learn an hour a day, 2 hours a day. Okay, I never learned 5 minutes a day, but okay, I'll try it. Oh, I can't be angry? Okay, I'm going to try it. Oh, I can't be stingy anymore? Okay, I'll try it. Because he wants to change. He wants to be better. She wants to be better. I have to put clothes on, Rabbi? I can't walk around with a mini skirt all the time, or even sometimes? Only in the shower? Maybe. Okay, so I'll have to buy a new wardrobe. I'll have to convince my husband to take a few shekels out of his pocket, buy me some clothes. Because apparently I'm walking around with underwear. Okay, so I'll figure it out, Rabbi. She wants to change. It's not that she all of a sudden, she likes the modest clothes. It's not that all of a sudden she likes the mitpachat. It's not that all of a sudden she became a tzadikah. No, it's going to take work to do that. It's not that all of a sudden he has the same metikut for the Torah, the same sweetness of Torah like the Chazon Ish had or Rav Kanievsky has. No, he struggles with Aleph Bet. But he wants to change. She wants to change. That's enough to motivate them to improve. Because once you want to change, the fact that now you know that you have flaws bothers you. The fact that now you know that it's not good to be angry, it's not good to be arrogant, it's not good to be cheap, it's not good to be all these negative things, now for the first time in your life, it bothers you that you're cheap. It bothers you that you're this way. You know that naturally you're angry and everybody that looks at you the wrong way, you want to punch them with the right and the left, just to make sure. But now all of a sudden, it bothers you that you want to punch him. Why do I want to punch him? How come nobody else wants to punch him? How come his face looks so good to me to punch? It shouldn't be that way. And you get upset with yourself. Why? Because you know deep inside, I'm not good enough. I can be a better version of me. On the other hand, Hashem yirachem on the people that have the opposite desire. That say, I'm okay. Shalom yeli. Like it says in Sefer Dvarim. I'm okay, I'm fine, I don't need to change. I'm good the way I am. You want to change? You want to be good, better than you? You do you. You leave me alone. I'm fine. I'm okay with my anger. I'm okay with my stinginess. I'm okay with the Goya girlfriend. I'm okay with stealing for business. Listen, I'm only stealing from Goyim. He makes it like it's kosher, like it's kosher, because he's only stealing from Goyim. He doesn't realize halakha is worse for Goyim. You steal from a Jew, you have to return double. You steal from a Goy, it's chilul Hashem, you have to go and die first in order to rectify that sin. You have a serious problem, you steal from Goyim. One of my students in Eretz Yisrael heard the shiur the other day. I mentioned something about stealing. She calls me, she tells me, listen, please tell me if you can help me. I said, what? I have somebody, I don't know where they are, help me find them. I need to return $1,000. I said, why you have to return $1,000? Why, you owe money? He goes, no, I stole it. I said, when? 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was a little kid. I don't know, I took $1,000 over a period of time. I got to return the money. Why? I want to go to Gan Eden. Because she heard in the shiur, she heard in the movie, no one's allowed to go into Gan Eden if they have stolen money. So now a person that says, Shalom Yeli, everything's going to be okay by me, I don't need to change, automatically all of their midot get worse. Why? Because they say that everything's okay, now they're okay with the fact that they're angry. So naturally, they allow themselves to get even angrier. Because they don't feel like fixing themselves, they got angry, but they figure like maybe the other guy didn't get the point when I started yelling. So let me flip the table and make sure he knows. He didn't realize that I was really angry because I just yelled. So I'm going to flip the table, maybe pour a cup of coffee in his face, make sure he realizes I'm angry. You know, my wife, she doesn't realize I'm angry. I'm not going to go home for 3 days. I'll show her I'm angry. All of a sudden, all of his character traits become much worse. Why? Because he figures, or she figures, there's nothing for me to change. I'm perfect as I am. Hashem made me this way, and that's the way he's going to accept me. As if Hashem, he needs her. He needs him. That's the mistake, Rabotai Karim, all of us have made at some point in our life. I can tell you a personal story. I've said it all the time. I used to wake up, you know, Jewish people, when they keep Torah and mitzvot, they wake up, what they say? Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, she'echzarta bi nishmati, b'chemla rabba emunatecha. What do you start off with your day? A Jew starts off with, thank you. Thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for giving me a neshama. Why? Because the neshama, be'emet, didn't want to come back. Be'emet, the neshama went to Gan Eden and Shamayim. Went up to Shamayim and said, Hashem, it's good for me here. I don't want to go with this body. This body's ruining it. Every day he makes sins, this body. I was good, I'm good over there. Let me pay the bill while I'm already over here. Whatever he did, I'll pay for it. But enough, Hashem, he keeps making sins, this guy. So the neshama doesn't want to come back. That's why it says, B'chemla rabba emunatecha. Emunatecha means Hashem has emunah in us. What emunah in us? He forces the neshama to come back to the body because he has emunah that today, not tomorrow, today we're going to do tshuva. So he says to the neshama, you have to go back. Why? Today he's going to do tshuva. Today she's going to be better. I have emunah in him. He has emunah in us. We barely have emunah in him, though. He has belief that today we're going to do tshuva. Now, that's a Jew wakes up. He says, thank you, Hashem, for having emunah in me. That's why I'm still alive. Because, Bemet, Gemara Masechet Brachot says, when you go to sleep, it's 1/60th of death. It's mamash death. You died. Your neshama left. A only little piece stayed behind. So thank you, Hashem, because really, in reality, resurrection of the dead every day. So now a Jew wakes up saying thank you. How did I wake up every day? It's embarrassing, but it's for toilet. You're not allowed to say bad things about yourself unless it's going to help people. This is going to help you. I used to wake up every single day. First thing in the morning I would say is the F word. Instead of saying like a Jew, Modeh ani, thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'd say the F word or the S word or some type of word I invented. Why? I'm late. For what? Who knows? I was the boss. It doesn't matter. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock. It didn't make a difference. I was always in my mind. I was always late to something. Late to an appointment, late to go make money, late to go chase, late to go this, late to eat, late to something. I was always late. I would wake up. You ask my wife, she'd tell you. Every day, miskin, the poor guy wakes up, curse word. Why? I'm late. To what? Who knows? Who knows? Who's going to fire you? You're the boss. I'm late to something. Angry. Ala boker. First thing in the morning, ala boker, Tisha B'Av. Every day. Now, I go to the office. A few people were there before me. When I first started in the business, I was the first guy in the office. Then when I started building the business, I had employees, they started being before me. But instead of being happy that the guys came to work, and the girls came to work, everybody came to work, I get upset. Why? They're not working hard enough. So, ala boker, I'm angry I woke up. I'm angry when I got to the office. I'm even angrier when I see everybody there and they're not working hard enough. Angry, angry, angry. At lunch I'm angry. Afternoon I'm always angry. Now, no one dare tell me, listen, why are you so angry? Why? Because they're scared for their job. But the same token, once in a while the anger would get worse. And not once in my life did I ever think this anger stuff is not good. When someone would mention, listen, don't get angry, but hey, you saying don't get angry, that makes me angry. Don't tell me don't get angry. That makes me angry. The fact that you tell me don't get angry, that makes me angry. Why? Because to me, as I was born this way. I was born an angry guy. Don't tell me don't be angry. It's like me telling you, don't be Steve, and your name is Steve. I'm Yaron, I'm angry. Same thing. Because in my mind, it was so demented, with the Yetzer Hara so poisoned, that being angry was just me. It was part of me. So what do you mean, don't be me? Don't be angry means don't be me. There's nothing wrong with being me. I was born this way. That's what the Yetzer Hara wants you to think. The Yetzer Hara wants you to think that you were born this way. You were born angry. You were born cheap. You were born this way, and therefore you should not change. You cannot change. It's impossible for you to change. And he convinces you every single day with a very strong argument. What's the argument? You've always been this way. How can you change now? You've been like this for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. You've been angry. Now you're going to change. Listen, maybe if you wanted to change at 13, 14, 15 years old, maybe you would have had a chance to change after a few years. But now you're 40 years old. No, come on. It's already too late for you. Too late for you to change already. Like Horkinos said to his son, Eliezer. He says, what, you want to be Talmid Chacham? It's too late. You're 27 years old. Go be a farmer like me, make a few shekels, and then you'll have some kids, and your kids will be Talmidei Chachamim. Eliezer started crying almost until his neshama left. He cried so much, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, he deserves a present. He sent him Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu Navi comes to this young man, 27 years old, named Eliezer ben Horkinos. He says, Eliezer, why are you crying? He says, I want to learn Torah. Eliezer didn't know anything. So much, he didn't even know where he can learn Torah. So Eliyahu Navi says to him, go to Yerushalayim. There's a big rabbi named Rabban Yochanan. Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. Go learn from him. He'll teach you. He'll teach you anything you want. Eliezer says, huh? Bemet, somebody would even teach somebody like me. He got up, picked up and left. Went to Yerushalayim. And as you would have it, because of the koach ratzon, because of his willpower, Eliezer ben Horkinos became Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkinos, the rabbi of Rabbi Akiva. The rabbi of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva had 24,000 students, biggest rabbi in the world. This is his rabbi. Generation before. Had an argument with Rabban Gamliel. Him and her had a debate between Rabban Gamliel, who was married to his sister, and they were studying together. They had an argument. A bat kol came from Shamayim. A bat kol came from Shamayim. Says to Rabban Gamliel and all the Chachamim, why are you arguing with my son Rabbi Eliezer? Don't you know halacha is always like him? Just like us, yeah. We say something, a bat kol comes down. Maybe Facebook says, too many posts. No bat kol. Rabbi Eliezer had an argument, bat kol from Shamayim came, says, don't you know halacha is always like him? Why? He had willpower. Willpower to change, Rabotai. Now, this means, Rabotai, that the power to change, the desire to change, is a very, very important desire to have. If you desire to change, automatically everything that you already have improves, and now you can build on it. If you do not have a desire to change, and you think that everything is okay with you, automatically all of your bad character traits will continue to deteriorate, continue to get worse. Why? Because you think that everything is okay, accept me as I am. I'm angry, accept me as I'm angry, which means that now you have to not even comment on the fact that I'm angry. Not even comment on the fact that I'm cheap, and this and that and the other thing. The guy expects his wife to be fine with the fact that he's a arrogant, impossible person. He wants his wife to be happy with the fact that he's stingy. Doesn't want to give her any money. Why? Because he wants to call it frugal. He said, no, honey, I'm saving for retirement. What retirement? I need to eat today, habibi. What retirement? No, honey, don't buy this, don't buy that, don't buy this, don't buy that. Why am I not buying it? No, if you save $20 a week, we could buy a house eventually. When? In 1,000 years? There are certain things to save on, there's certain things that, come on. Certain things to save, there's certain things not to save. You want a watch? Okay, you could buy a Casio watch for $10. But to buy a challah that's a good one for $5 and instead of the one for $4, you really think you're going to save that dollar is going to change your life? Or this sugar versus that sugar, or the CVS brand of medicine versus the brand name medicine? If your wife says she wants the brand name, you buy her the brand name, even though it doesn't make any difference, even though it doesn't make any sense. She wants the brand name, buy her the brand name. Why? Because that's what she wants. What do you think? You're going to save the $2 that's going to help you in your life? You're going to buy a house because of the $2 you saved? What do you think is going to happen with saving that $2? People save in the wrong places. The funny part is, when the guy at the car lot says to them, listen, you want a navigation system with that? Yeah, sure, add it on. Another $3,000 that he's never going to use. Navigation system, another $3,000. He says, yeah, sure, it looks cool. He's never going to use it. Why? Because he uses his phone anyway. For free. But another $3,000 on a car, no problem. You want the chrome rims or the alloy rims or this rim or that rim? Yeah, add that on. It's what? It's only $30 a month? No problem. Add it. For himself, no problem. Add it. But the challah, he has to get $1 discount. The CDs, hey, Rabbi, is there a discount on the CDs? They're already $1 each. What discount do you want? We're going to pay you? I don't know. Didn't you have a program where you're giving them out for free? Yeah, but you have money. Why do you want them for free? Oh, no, I thought we were going to get a large quantity discount. Okay, you know what? How much is the large quantity? Oh, I was going to order 20. Oh, so instead of spending $20, you want to spend what, 5, 10? You think it's going to help you in your life? You're going to save that $10? Yeah, I'm going to give it out at a big party. Oh, how much the party cost you? $50,000. Oh, so the $10 you're saving is on the CDs, but not the $50,000 party. Yishtabach Shemo La'ad. People amaze me sometimes. But you know what? You have to feel bad because they don't notice it themselves. They don't know that there's something wrong there. When the camera guy says $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to be a camera guy, they don't question it a second. Sure, what? Camera guy, $5,000? No, you're going to take album too? CD also? Okay, no problem. Okay, be there on time. But when the caterer says, listen, we have the hashgacha from this place, highest hashgacha, and then we have like a homeless hashgacha. The guys that are like Mechaleh Shabbat, they accept the hashgacha. Which one you want? No, get the second one. Cheaper? Get the second one. You go to the wedding, the only thing that's kosher is the sign, not the food. Why? It's cheaper. Saved $1,000. But the camera guy, no discount. Why? It's camera guy. Why? Because they value this, but not this. Yetzirah cares less about the camera guy. Cares about the kosher guy. Torah, tell the guy, listen, can I get some mezuzot? Yeah, sure, it's $120, $150, $100, whatever, per mezuzah. Oh, why so expensive? Why so expensive? Wow, you guys are here to make money on us? No, you asked for the mezuzah. I didn't ask you. I didn't offer it to you. I didn't make a whole campaign. Here, please buy the mezuzot. I'm going to kill you. No, you want a mezuzah. You're asking me. I'm telling you, it's going to cost $150 for mezuzah. You want it? Good. You want it? Go find yourself a new friend. What do you want for my life? No, why? There's no discounts? How many mezuzot do you need? 20. What are you, a factory? No, it's my house. So your house has 20 doors, but you're complaining about $150 a mezuzah, you rasha merusha. Your house has 20 doors, it's a $1 million house, $2 million house. But you're complaining about $150 mezuzah. Why? Satan doesn't care about the house. cares about the $100 for the mezuzah. Why? He values this and not this. Guy calls me for tefillin. Rabbi, can I get tefillin? Yeah, sure, no problem. Just look at the website. There's a few pairs over there. I don't really sell many, but whenever you want, you can get it. There's 600, there's 900, there's 1,000. Each one of them are worth double of what we sell them for, but whatever. Yeah, go. Oh, no, I was hoping you'd give it to me for free. What, am I your father? No, I don't know. Why? You want me to do mitzvot? No. Aren't we all about doing Kiddush Hashem, Rabbi? Yeah, Kiddush Hashem, pay for it, buddy. They want to do Kiddush Hashem with your money. It's the best thing in the world. Oh, okay, no, forget it then. Do you have tefillin? No. So we'll get tefillin. No, I'm not going to pay $600 for tefillin. You crazy? The best. Why? You can't even be upset. Why? They don't know there's anything wrong. They don't know there's anything wrong. The desire to change on those people is very, very small. It's up to a line. I'm willing to change as long as it's for a discount. I'm willing to change as long as it's free. I'm willing to change as long as it doesn't push me too much. I love the shiurim you make, Rabbi, but you know that one shiur you said about gambling, I don't like that one. Maybe you should change it. Why? How come you don't like that one? No, because I gamble. Oh, so you like all of the shiurim that have nothing to do with you. Because you keep Shabbat, so you don't care about me talking about Mechalel Shabbat Mot Yumat. You keep Tarat Mishpacha, so you don't care about me telling people about Nida and so on. But the one thing that affects you, now you care. Now you don't like me. Now you don't like Hashem. Because it touched home. This, Rabotai, is a problem for all of us. And that's why Shlomo HaMelech says that you have to love Musar. What's Musar? Musar is teachings that are going to rebuke you personally. Don't go and learn only the things that you're good at. Go learn the things that you're weak at. Now, there is one thing that all of us are weak. It all starts with Sefer Bereshit. Just this past weekend, we read Parashat Bereshit. We heard HaKadosh Baruch Hu create the world. He says that He's going to create Adam B'Tzalmenu Kedmutenu, a man in our image, in our likeness, showing us that all of mankind, whether Jew or none, are important to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But later on, when we get to Torah, the Jews become the chosen people. But then you see something extraordinary. You see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates this beautiful Gan Eden. Everything is there. There's a river that's surrounded by gold and beauty. All of these rivers, the Torah describes them of how beautiful they were, and the fruits and the vegetables and all these wonderful things. When it came to food, the Gemara says that the Malachim came to Adam Rishon and were making him barbecue. Malachim! HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent Malachim, why? Go serve Adam Rishon, make him barbecue. Whatever he wants. He wants shishlik, make him shishlik. Wants a burger, make him a burger. He wants, what does he want? He wants something, make him whatever he wants. As much as he wants. No end. This was Gan Eden, meaning there's no end to the good you could have gotten in this place. But then we hear the very famous, horrible story of what happened. The snake, the serpent, comes to Chava and entices her to eat from the forbidden fruit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you could have everything in this Gan Eden, except from this fruit, from this tree. The tree of knowledge, don't touch it. Everything else you can touch. In fact, the Chachamim explained to us that even the tree of life that was in the middle of the garden, they were allowed to eat from it. Why? Because Hashem didn't say don't eat from it. Meaning, if they found it, they could eat it and they could live forever. And that's why Rabbi Ephraim says that's the real reason of why Chava wanted to eat from the tree of knowledge. Why? Because it says the tree of life was in the middle of the garden. But where's the middle of the garden? We don't know where it starts. We don't know where it ends. Where's the middle? So they figured if they eat from the tree of knowledge, the knowledge will be, where is the tree of life? Go find the tree of life, go eat from it, live forever. Shtabach Shemo. Why is this a mistake? Mistake is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu already told you you're going to live forever. In fact, the only way you're going to die is if you eat from the tree of knowledge. But Chava forgot this. God didn't take this into account. What did she take into account? More. The addiction to more. The same addiction all of us have. What are we all addicted to? More. More of what? Everything. More food, a second serving, more sex, a second, third wife, second, third husband, another this, another that, more money, another company. Yeah, but your first company is already successful. Yeah, that's why I'm opening a second one. Why do you need a second one? To make more. Famous movie I saw many years ago. The villain was a billionaire. So the good guy, so if you will, says to him, what do you want? How much more do you want? You already have buildings and this and this and this and this. What else do you want? He says to him. The villain says, more. Best line. Why? It's the truth. That's what we all want. More. We are addicted to more. The problem is, if you do not control that addiction, you are ruining your own life. Just like Chava ruined her own life. She had the ability to live forever, but she wanted more. I have all of this fruit. I have all of this garden. I have this, but that one thing I don't have, and I want it. Yeah, but you have everything else. Yeah, but I want more. Just a little more. But you're already rich. Yeah, but just a little richer. But you're already full. Yeah, but just another bite. But you're already married. Yeah, but just this one time. Everyone has an excuse because the Satan, the Malach HaMavet, is the same one from this story. He's been working already for 6,000 years. He's the one that convinced Chava. You don't think he's going to convince you? He convinced Chava to want more. Rabotai, our desire and our addiction to more is a disease. And if you don't control it, you're killing yourself. And tonight, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to go over a few desires that many people have that are literally ruining lives, ruining families, ruining religion, ruining childhood, ruining everything. If you remember, the desire for more didn't necessarily start with Chava. The Gemara in Masechet Chulin, page 60b, says, if you notice, on Sefer Bereshit, chapter 1, verse 16, it says, and God made two large luminaries, the large luminary to dominate the day, and the smaller luminary to dominate the night and the stars. In the beginning, it says there were two large luminaries. The sun and the moon were both the same size. But then later, in the same verse, it says the large luminary to dominate the day, meaning the sun, and the smaller luminary to dominate the night. Yeah, but hold on a second. Initially you said there were two large. Then in the same verse you say one was large and one was smaller. Why don't you just say there was two luminaries, one bigger than the other? So the Gemara in Masechet Chulin 60b says, in the beginning, the sun and the moon were both the same size. But then the angel of the moon came to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and says, there's no way that it's right. Thank you, Skei Mitzvot. There's no way that it's right for two luminaries to be the queens of the night and the day and be of the same size. Surely there should be one bigger one. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you're right. I'll make the sun the bigger one. You be smaller. And Hashem shrunk the moon as a punishment. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not like big eyes. He doesn't like people that want more than what they deserve, more than what they have, more than what He gifted them. This, by the way, is in our new series of children cartoons that Bezrat Hashem will launch this week. This little story I just gave you, it's a nice cartoon with our tzaddik over here telling us the story of what I just said. So, look out for it, Bezrat Hashem, in the newsletter. But anyway, Rabotai Kareem, we're trying to teach children, and the same thing that we teach adults and adults actually, in the same way we teach children, that it's not just about the story Hashem created the world, the Adam, Chava, they ate the fruit, okay, chalas, we're Moshe Rabbeinu already. There's a lesson to be learned everywhere. First lesson is, Rabotai, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a package, it's not that it's good to be happy with your package. It's an obligation. It's not a suggestion, be happy with your share, by the Chachamim of Pirkei Avot. It's an obligation to be happy with your share. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not like people that are unhappy with their share. And I'm going to give you a few examples. It starts with Chava. Chava wanted more than what she had. She had the entire Gan Eden. Only thing that was forbidden, the forbidden fruit, tree of knowledge. She touched it, lost everything. She brought death to the world. Until this day, women are suffering because of Chava's desire for just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Yeah, but what about Adam? How come he's suffering? How come the animals are suffering? Everyone's dying, not just women. Why? Because Chava gave everyone, the Chachamim say, of the fruit. Not just Adam. She gave the animals the fruit. She gave Adam HaRishon the fruit. Everybody ate from the fruit. Why? Because everyone deep inside wanted a little bit more. You want a little bit more? You're all going to get punished. You're not happy with what Hashem gave you? You're all going to get punished. Why? You should be happy with what I gave you. If I gave it to you, it must be good. You notice also, Sefer Bereshit, it says, Etz pri oseh pri. The original tree was to be a fruit tree that was fruit itself. Etz pri oseh pri. The tree itself is a pri, is a fruit that makes fruit. That's what the pasuk says. Meaning, the original tree was supposed to be a fruit itself. Meaning, you were supposed to eat the tree too, not just the fruit. The angel of the trees didn't like this. Why? He says, wait, if I'm going to be edible too, they're going to eat all of us, not going to be enough. Thinking he knows better than Hashem. So he didn't want to make himself edible, so he made the actual tree itself not edible. And only the fruit edible. Hashem says, you didn't do what I said because you thought that your plan is better, there's not going to be enough trees. For that, for eternity, you're going to get punished. For the rest of this world, you're going to be punished. Not eternity. For the rest of this world, what? Every time there's a fire, a tree will be in it. What do we burn? We burn trees. You were afraid that they're going to run out of trees because people are going to eat you. Okay, so don't worry. They're not going to eat you. They're going to burn you instead. Because you thought that my plan, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's plan, is better. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is very critical of those that question Him. It's okay to ask questions. It's not okay to question Hashem's decisions, though. You have a package, you have to be happy with the package you have. Further, we move on to the generation of Noach. Generation of Noach, you look at the Midrashim, it's unbelievable. They were filthy rich. There was money literally in the streets. Everyone was healthy. No one died. People were living almost 1,000 years. Never a sickness. Sickness wasn't created yet. Sickness was only created at the time of Yaakov Avinu. The way somebody died one day, they're walking around, everyone looked like they were 20 years old. Whether you were 1,000 years old or 20 years old, you looked the same. Always healthy, never even having a temperature, never having a sneeze, nothing. But if you sneezed, died. Why? That was it. That's why until this day they say God bless you. Or la briut, for health. Why? Because in the past, if the guy sneezed, he died. 6,000-year-old minhag. No one died. People were giants. Nephilim, the Nephilim reached the sky. Powerful people. Wasn't enough for them. They wanted more. They wanted more than what they had. They saw somebody has a few extra dollars. That's in their bank and not in their bank. They took it. He has a woman that's not my woman. They took her too. He had a house. They took his house. Started stealing from each other. Started being promiscuous. But that wasn't enough. The woman wasn't enough. They wanted more than the woman. They started wasting seed, the Gemara says. The Gemara says the reason why HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates and detests people that waste seed is because that's the real reason of why he brought the Mabul, the flood. Because people were wasting seed because the desire was not fulfilled enough with just women and just men. So they started wasting seed. It wasn't enough. If that was enough, animals too. Even the animals were affected. The animals weren't happy with each other. The giraffe wasn't happy with just giraffe. He wanted to be with the lion too. The lion wasn't happy with the lion. He wanted to be with the zebra. The animals started going with the wrong gender, with the wrong species. No one was happy with what they had. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, this is a disaster. This is Hamas. He has to destroy it. And he destroyed the world. Why? People were not happy with what HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them. They were addicted to more. Hashem says they have lost their right to live. Destroy the entire world. This continues, if you notice it, almost in every single parasha in the Torah. Our sins as a people, as well as a nation itself, as a species of human beings, as well as a nation of Jews, has been repeated generation after generation, family after family, person after person. We are all committing the same crime. We are all addicted to more. We all want more. We're all unhappy with whatever Hashem gave us. We're constantly complaining. Sometimes the only reason people like to pray is because they like to cry to Hashem. When was the last time you cried about the Shekhinah not being here because he destroyed his house? When was the last time any of us cried, not because I want more money, I want a zivug, I want refuah shlema, I want. No. When was the last time you said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want your Shekhinah to be in this world with the Bet HaMikdash? I want the Bet HaMikdash built. When was the last time anyone did this? The reality is most people didn't even know they're supposed to pray for it. They're like, wow, when Hashem wants it, He'll do it Himself. He'll do it when you want it. He'll bring the Mashiach when you want the Mashiach. If the Mashiach came today, most people wouldn't want the Mashiach. Why? You have to be frum for the Mashiach to come. You have to keep the entire Torah for Mashiach to come. You have to leave America for the Mashiach to come. Mashiach shows up, oh, CNN, Fox News, CNBC, all the news say, Eliyahu Navi just announced, Mashiach is here. How many people think are going to get on the next El Al flight going to Israel? It's like, no, Mashiach. Take it easy, no? Take it easy. It's taking 2,000 more years. Okay, so another couple of years, not going to hurt. I just built a house, I just remodeled my kitchen. What, now you have to come? I just bought a new company. I just made an investment in Bitcoin. I think it's going to go up. Let it go up, then I'll come, Mashiach. Take it easy, Mashiach. Go learn some more Torah, no? People love this world so much, they forget the purpose. Why? They want more. Gemara, Masechet Sanhedrin, page 26. tells us a story about one of the biggest Reshaim that ever lived, named Bilam. Bilam, we learn from Parashat Balak, tried to curse Am Yisrael. He was a Navi. He was a Navi of the Goyim that had powers that even Moshe Rabbeinu did not have. When it says no Navi like Moshe ever came, it says Be'Israel, in Israel. Meaning, there was a Navi like Moshe, as far as power is concerned. But not in Israel. Who? Among the Goyim. Who was the Gemara says? Bilam. Bilam had a power that even Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have. He knew a moment, there's a rega, that a Kadosh Baruch Hu judges the people. And if you curse anyone during that rega, Hashem does whatever you want, because he's already judging the people. So during that rega, during that moment is when he tried to curse Am Yisrael 3 times. Hashem obviously is not, limited to the extent where he has to do it at that moment, or he has to do it at all. So obviously he didn't curse Am Yisrael. So after Bilam failed, he gave a suggestion to Balak to still kill a bunch of people. He says, go and convince all of these Jews to make sex crimes. Go and hang out with the Goyot. Go hang out with them. Go be with them. You get them to do that, Hashem's going to punish them anyway. And unfortunately, Zimri, as we talked about a week ago, Zimri was one of the leaders of the Shimon tribe. He fell and 24,000 people followed him, and Hashem killed all of them. So the Gemara says, in page 26 of Masechet Sanhedrin, that Bilam comes to Midian to collect his money. So the Gemara asks, what does Bilam have to do with anything? He tried cursing Am Yisrael and he failed. What is he coming for? What is he? He says he came to collect his money for the good idea he gave Balak. It's not so easy to go kill 24,000 Jews. Look, I gave you one advice, you followed it, 24,000 Jews died. I want my money. That's what you wanted me to do with the curse. I did it without the curse. I did it some other way. I gave you advice, you followed it, and it worked. And because of that, he went there, and in Parashat Pinchas, you'll read that Bilam was killed by Pinchas. When he came to Midian, at the same moment, Moshe Rabbeinu and Am Yisrael attacked, Pinchas leading the war, and they saw that Bilam arrived at the same time. Bilam, because he had powers, started flying in the air. But Pinchas was the Kohen Gadol now, had a special blessing from Hashem. He used the power of the Shem HaMeforash. He also flew in the air. They both flew in the air. He took him down, put the spear through him, and killed him. Superheroes. Start from the Torah, Parashat, already from the time of Yaakov Avinu, but also Parashat Pinchas. Now, the Gemara says, what is this like? It says this Bilam is like a camel. Why a camel? The camel complained to Hashem. He said, Hashem, how come the bull and the deer and all of these animals, they have horns? I want horns. The camel complained to Hashem, I want horns too. A nice horn spears, I could go have some fights. Hashem says, oh, you're not happy with what I gave you? Not only you're not going to get horns, I'll make your ears small. And that's why the camel has small ears. It's like holes in the head. You got punished. Why? You're not happy with what I gave you. He says, that's Bilam. Bilam already got a lot for what he did. He wasn't happy. He wanted to get paid even more because his idea killed 24,000 Jews. He wanted more honor, more respect, more money. What did he get? He got killed instead. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not like people with big eyes. There's a commandment called Velo Tachmod. Lo Tachmod Eshet Recha. You are not allowed to desire the wife of your neighbor. This, unfortunately, Rabotai, happens all the time. You find out your friend is in a shidduch. He found a woman. You're not happy for him. Why? Because you haven't found a shidduch yet. Or better yet, you're already married 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Your wife gave birth to a couple of kids. She's not the 19-year-old you met. But your friend, your cousin, your somebody, he met some 20-year-old without kids. So she still looks like a 20-year-old. You're not happy for him. Why? You want her. You, my friend, are violating the Ten Commandments. You're a very serious problem. And the violation is not if you actually go and do something chas v'shalom. That's already no chelik l'olam haba. The violation is even having the desire in your head. We're going to read some chidush that I have, B'ezrat Hashem, Gemara Masechet Yoma, that iur avera, the thought of a sin, is worse than a sin when it comes to arayot, when it comes to immorality. When it comes to sex crimes, the thought is worse than the actual action. Watching pornography is even worse than even being promiscuous. Why? Small little taste. If somebody's promiscuous, they still can't fulfill their desire all the time. They have to find somebody that agrees with them. But if somebody gets addicted to pornography, somebody gets addicted to looking at stuff that's immodest, they can fulfill their desire 24/7. No end. That's just one small little reason why. Now, the Gemara in Masechet Sotah says something very interesting. It says, look at the Sotah. Sotah is a wayward woman. A woman that cheated on her husband with another man. Once she's caught in a room with another man after she's told not to do it and she still does it, and there's two witnesses that see this, they bring her to the Bet HaMikdash. Because they don't know if she actually cheated or not, because they weren't in the middle of the action. And even if she says, I did it, you don't believe her. If a woman comes to her husband, says, honey, I cheated on you. Ma says you don't believe her. Why? Maybe she wants to divorce you. But if you saw her, it's a different story. But in the days of the Bet HaMikdash, if you saw her alone with a guy in a room, after you told her not to do it, then she's already a wayward woman. You bring her to the Bet HaMikdash, and you let Hashem tell us whether she cheated, unless she admits it. If she denies it, and she really did it, she drinks the water, and she blows up and dies on the spot. But if, at the Bet HaMikdash, after she goes through the whole process, and she finally admits it before she drinks the water, she admits she was with another guy, they let her go, they don't kill her. But the Gemara says this, Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbi is telling the Bereta, the Sotah set her eyes upon one who's not fit for her, and what she sought was not given to her. And what was in her hand, they took from her. For anyone who sets his eyes upon something that's not his, what he seeks, they do not give him, and what is in his hand, they take away from him. The Gemara teaches us something very, very interesting. It says, look what we learned from the Sotah. We don't have a Sotah today, Bet HaMikdash, all that stuff. We have, unfortunately, many women that cheat. And in Eretz Yisrael, they recently did a statistic. They said that women, now in this generation, cheat just as much as men. Women, again, women cheat on their husbands just as much as men. Hashem Yirachem. Now, if a husband cheats on his wife, if she agrees to take him back, he agrees to do tshuva, she agrees to take him back, allowed to be together. But if the wife cheats on the husband, she's forbidden from him forever. Not allowed. So here the Gemara says, look, the Sotah, she admitted she was with another guy, but what happens? She wasn't happy with what she got. She wanted something else. Not only did she not end up getting what she wanted, because she's not allowed to be with the guy she cheated on her husband with, but on top of it, she loses her husband too. From here, the Gemara says we learn, someone who wants more than what HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him, not only does Hashem not give him what he wants, but he takes what he has also. Then you say, wait a minute, so what, you're not allowed to be ambitious? I want to be ambitious. I want more. I want more Torah. I want more mitzvot. I want more money to give you more tzedakah. That's not good? It's good, no? Yes, that's mitzvah. But there's a very, very thin line between ambition and pure desire, because you're obsessed with money, obsessed with materialism, obsessed with all of the other things. It's not really, you don't want more money because of more mitzvot. You want more money because you want a bigger house. So you could show off to the neighborhood for having a 4-story house, while the rest of them are homeless. It's not that you want more money because you're going to give everybody a ride in the carpool. You want a fancy schmancy car. It's not that you want more money because you want to give tzedakah. It's that you want your name on a building. Even if the building's a yeshiva, you want your name there too. Meaning it's not really the mitzvah that you want. You want kavod that comes with it. Someone like that, Rabotai, puts himself in danger. Why? You want what doesn't belong to you for the wrong reasons. You are risking losing what Hashem already gave you. What is it like, the Gemara says? It says, look, we have several examples. The serpent set his eyes on something that's not fit for him. What did the serpent want? Serpent want Chava. Serpent didn't want another serpent. He didn't want another snake. What did he want? He wanted Chava. That's why he went to Chava, the Gemara says, to convince her to eat from the forbidden fruit. Why? He figured she's going to give it to her husband. He's going to die, because Hashem said he's going to die. He never said Chava is going to die. Hashem talked to Adam Rishon. Adam Rishon, he's married, but still, he never said to Chava. So maybe I'll let Chava go. Why? So now Adam Rishon is going to eat the fruit. So the serpent says, I can be with her now. Because the serpent in those days wasn't like the snake today. He had arms, legs, he was the most beautiful animal. He actually looked like a human being, but even more beautiful. He wanted to be with the woman. Hashem says, you wanted what wasn't fit for you. Not only you will not get it, but you'll lose the ability to even have it ever. You'll crawl on your stomach. You'll eat only, everything that tastes like sand to you. And human beings naturally will hate you. Especially women. And he's more cursed than all of the other beasts and animals in the world. Another example, the Gemara says, we have Cain, Korach, Bil'am, Doeg, Achitofel, Gehazi, Avshalom, Adoniyahu, Uziyahu, Haman. All of the Reshaim in the Torah, same exact mistake. From the beginning of Bereshit, all the way to the end of the Tanakh, every single Rasha made the same mistake. What? Addiction to more. Haman, what did Haman say in Purim? Purim's coming up. A little while. What's going to be? What did he say, Haman? I have everything. He was even richer than the king, Achashverosh. But it's not enough. Why? Because this Jew, Mordechai, won't bow to me. This Jew, Mordechai, is not going to bow to me. Everything I have is worthless. For that, what happened? He became nothing. Dust and ashes. Cain saw that his brother, Hevel, was born with 2 twin wives. He only had 1 twin wife. He wanted his wives. So he killed them. Hashem punished him, he didn't get nothing. Ended up destroying, there's no lineage of Cain anymore in the world. 7th generation, you read it in this week's parasha, or last week's parasha, the 7th generation, everyone destroyed. There's no more generation of Cain in the world. No one is a descendant of Cain. Why? He wanted more. Korach wanted to be the president. Yeah, it's not enough. You're already the billionaire, richest guy in the world. Until this day, there's a saying in the world, in the Jewish world, Ashir ke Korach. You're rich like Korach. That's how rich Korach was. He had 70 camels, just to carry all the keys to the safes that he had full of gold. 70 camels just to carry the keys. That's how much gold he had. He had more money than the rest of Am Yisrael put together. That was enough. Why? He wants to be president. He wants to take Moshe Rabbeinu's job. What did he get? Genom. Ground opened up, swallowed him and all of his followers. Until this day, there's a place in the desert that you can hear the screams of Korach and all of his followers. Hashem is emet, Torato emet, and Moshe Rabbeinu is emet. If you find it, let me know, I'll come. Till this day, he's there. No breaks, no discounts. No end of sentence, forever. Only Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, a chidush says, there's a chance that Korach will come out eventually when Mashiach comes. Why? After the pasuk, Tzadik ketamar yifrach, Rashi Tevot Korach. That because so many people did tshuva after learning the story of Korach, that maybe that's going to give him enough merit to get him out of Gehinnom when Mashiach comes. But not for sure, there's a machloket. Many Chachamim say, no, Rabbi Shimon, thank you very much, but we don't agree. We're not on the level of agreeing or disagreeing. All I know is Korach is there now. Whoever wants to follow your addiction of more. Bilam, we just talked about, Doeg, Achitofel, and so on. The point is, Rabotai, we see that the addiction for more is not something that began today. Now, the Gemara in another place says in Masechet Sotah, says, how come the guy has the punishment from heaven that he has a wife that becomes a Sotah? How come a guy gets a wife that wants more and wants another guy? I mean, that's really unnatural. It's natural, but it's unnatural. It's natural to want more than what you have, but once you have something, you have a husband, technically you already agreed as part of the marriage that he's your only one and you're his only one, and that's it. That's the whole point of marriage. The whole point of marriage is that you're my only one, I'm your only one, that's it, finished. I'm enough. I've had enough of the world. This is what I want you, I want me, finished. How come the husband has the tikkun that he has such a wife? No, who wants to give me an answer? I want to know. What do you guys think? Chavod, Sutton. Wasted seed at some point. Chazaku Baruch. No, more. There's a good reason, but it's not the reason the Gemara gives. It's probably a good reason, though. It's probably a possible reason. It's probably led to that, but there's something more specific. No, come on. More what? Who said more? The wife, the husband, and what they say more of. No, Sani, you learned Gemara Masechet Sotah. You completed it already. You remember this. Mefarshim, Rabotai Karim, you're never going to believe this. Gemara says, why did the husband get a tikkun of having such a rotten potatoes wife? Goes and cheats on him. Gemara says it's his fault. Why his fault? Why his fault? His wife came to him and says, honey, I need some money to go shopping. He says, no, we don't have any money. But he had. He was just cheap. The rabbi said, listen, we're building a new center. You can donate. Yeah, it's $10. Oh, you know what? I'll give you a chai. What chai? What am I going to buy? Toilet paper? We're building a building. Chai is not going to help me. Oh, no, I don't have. You know, times are rough. But times are not rough. He's just cheap. He's cheap. Hashem says, I'm going to punish him. Just like he was too cheap to go give money to the Talmid Chacham. Now is punishment his. He has to go to the Talmid Chacham to ask him for help. Who's the Talmid Chacham? The Kohen. The Kohen Gadol. You didn't want to help the Kohen. You didn't want to help the Torah. You didn't want to publicize the Torah. Now you have to go to the Torah to ask for help. Why? Because your wife is possibly a cheater. You have to go to the Kohen and ask him, hey Kohen, did she cheat on me or not? Can I still stay married or not? When you didn't go and use your money to publicize Torah, you're going to have to ask the Torah for help. When you didn't give money to your wife because you're cheap, your wife got another guy to give her money. There's always another guy that's going to buy her a car. There's always another guy that's going to buy her, some type of tachshit, jewelry. There's always another guy. You're cheap. Not that you don't have. If you don't have, you don't have. Guess what? You don't have. If you have a normal wife, she loves you even more. But if you have, but you're cheap because you want to save for retirement, you're 25 years old, but you're already saving for retirement, you, my friend, have a serious problem. Why? Torah says you're not allowed to be cheap with your wife. And this, Rabotai, is Halacha. The Rambam, in Ilchot Ishut. This is the laws of women. Chapter 16. Says, chapter 16, Halacha number 19. Says, our sages commanded that a man honor his wife more than his own person and love her as much as he loves his own person. He has to love her just as much as he loves himself. We all love ourselves. That's why you're still alive. Even though life is hard, you're alive because you love yourself. You don't want to kill yourself. People that are suicidal have lost that sense of understanding of what right and wrong is. Everyone's still alive despite the problems because they love themselves. Your wife, you have to love as much as you love yourself. But when it comes to honor, you have to honor her even more than yourself. This, Rabotai, is a very difficult halacha for some people to keep. Why? Because they think about the next halacha, which we'll go over in a second. They think, no, but she has to treat me like a king. That's what the halacha says. Halacha says, a woman is commanded to honor her husband exceedingly and to be in awe of him. She should carry out all of her deeds according to his directives and consider him like an officer or a king. So the guys are saying, oh, she has to treat me like a king. If she treats me like a king, then I'll treat her, I'll love her, I'll honor her more. No, my friend. You're obligated regardless. You have your law, she has our law. Whether she treats you like a king or not, you still have to love her as much as yourself. You still have to honor her more than yourself. And she, whether you honor her or not, she still has to treat you like a king. The problem is most people, what they do, they read each other's laws to each other. No, you honor me, then I'll treat you like a king. No, you treat me like a king, then I'll honor you. No, my friend. You obligated with your rule, you're obligated with your rule. But then it says the following. Same halacha number 19, after it says he has to honor her even more than himself. If he has financial resources, he should offer her benefits in accordance with his resources. You have money, you have to spend it on your wife. To what extent? You have money, you want to buy a watch, your wife has to have a watch first. Your wife has to have jewelry first. Why? There's an obligation to buy her something, not obligation to buy you something. Yeah, but I'm the one that works. So, what'd you write on the ketubah? On the ketubah you wrote, you signed off that you're going to buy her jewelry, you're going to buy her clothes, you're going to buy her stuff. You're not allowed to be cheap with your wife. You be cheap with your wife, it's like eating pig. It's no different. This is not a Rambam's suggestions for good marriage. This is halakha. It's Moshe Sinai. Who here wants to eat pig? Nobody, right? Same thing here. You have money. You have to buy your wife stuff. You have to buy her presents. How much? As much as your resources allow. Meaning, if you're rich, you buy a rich people's stuff. You're a rich person, you make $500,000, $1 million, $2 million a year, or actually technically, you make $300,000 a year, you're already considered rich. Somebody came to me the other day, says, I'm struggling. I said, what happened? He said, no, I wish I had more money, I'm really struggling, it's terrible times. I said, well, B'ezrat Hashem, you have better times, I don't know. And then his friend said, how much money do you make this year? Because now I only made $160,000. I looked at the guy 3 times against 5 heads. I said, you're struggling with $160,000? He goes, yeah. I said, how many kids you have? He goes, nothing. No kids, no nothing. You have a pet maybe. I don't know. So what do you do with the money? I'm struggling. $160,000 a year, I'm struggling. Another guy also told me he's struggling, but he has 5 kids, 6 kids. Okay, 5, 6 kids. If you're in America, depends where you live, it could be difficult. Could be. If you're a spender and you're used to more money and so on. You have tuition, you have this, you have that. It's a lot of money, but nonetheless, A guy that's single is struggling with $160,000 a year. Why? Because we have no idea what we even have. We don't appreciate it. We don't value it. We always want more. If you make $330,000 a year, to be exact, according to statistics, you are considered one of the top 1% of earners in the world. Out of almost 8 billion people. 8 billion people in the world, you make $330,000 a year, you're top 1%. Top 80 million. Why? The vast majority of the world is not America. Here, the average person makes $30,000, $40,000 a year. The rest of the world, average person makes $4,000, $5,000 a year. They eat peanuts, literally. That's all they can afford. And they live happily than the people in America. People in America have a suicide problem. People in Bangladesh don't commit suicide. People in China don't really commit suicide like they commit suicide in America. Rich country. Why? Over there, they understand the value of life, even though they don't really have a life. Here, they don't understand the value of life. They want more. They want 2 lives. 1 life's not enough. They want to be a cat. So now, Rabotai, a person has to be generous with his wife based on his resources. That's what the halakha says. If you have money, you have to spend it on your wife. You don't have any money, you don't have any money. There's no obligation. You're anus. It's like someone says, listen, I don't have money, I don't have tefillin, and I don't have money to buy tefillin, and pretty much I don't live in a place where I can even borrow tefillin. So what do? Nothing. You don't have an ability to do it. But if you have money to go buy tefillin, but you choose instead to go out and buy tickets to the next basketball game instead, on front row tickets, guess what? In Shamayim, they're already preparing the Gehenom for you to burn you. With that ticket inside. Why? Instead of buying tefillin, you bought tickets, front row tickets to New York Knicks, to watch them lose or win. Watch a bunch of guys throw a piece of leather into a hoop. You think that's better than your tefillin. For that you have money, but for tefillin you don't have any money. Tefillin the guy has since he's bar mitzvah. He's 37 years old. 25 years already he has the same tefillin. Why don't you buy grown-up pairs of tefillin? Ah, it's expensive. Oh yeah, but front row tickets for football game, not expensive. In Shamayim, they judge people on this. Wife asks him, honey, can you do me a favor? Can you get me a new car? The car has 3 wheels. It's not really a car anymore. Can you do me a favor, lease a new car? It's $300-400 a month. Please, honey, please. No, we don't have any money. Comes home with a brand new watch. They're going to burn him in Shamayim with this watch. Why? You're obligated to give your wife what you have. Obligated. It's not a nice thing to do. Not allowed to be cheap with your wife. It also hurts parnasah, by the way. But the Gemara says, back to the original teachings, why does the sotah end up becoming a sotah? It says many times it's because the husband was cheap. Cheap on her and cheap with Torah. Sometimes he's generous with his wife. His wife is blinged out. She's got jewelry coming out of her ears. But when the rabbi comes, listen, we need some money for Kiruv, help Am Yisrael keep Shabbat. No, Rabbi, times are tough. I only made $2 million last year. Times are rough, Rabbi. Only 10,000 last month. Only 10,000. It's not enough. I'm trying to save. Come back next year. Maybe I'll have something for you. When I have a lot of money, I'll give you. That's everybody's excuse. When I have a lot of money, I'll give you. You have a little money. Can you give a little money? You have a lot of money, give a lot of money. You have a little money. Can you give a little money? I got a 19-year-old kid in the process of conversion. Almost 2 years already, he sends me $40 a week. Not to me, to Bezrat Hashem. He's 19 years old, and he works. He makes $350 a week. The kid makes $350 a week, and he sends $40 for Torah. Why? He knows it's important. But the guy that makes $100,000 a year, you know, campaign. Oh, Rabbi, how come you post so many times that you need tzedakah? What, is it all about money with you? How much did you donate? No, I haven't donated yet, but I was just thinking. No, it's all about money. Maybe people are going to be turned off because of so many campaigns. Did you donate? You didn't even donate. You complaining? Funny thing is, the guys that never donate always complain. The ones that do donate say, Rabbi, you should have reminded me. Tell me, I'll donate again. Why? It's character trait of a person. Person that's cheap with his wife is putting his marriage in danger. Again, cheap, not doesn't have. There's a very big difference. You're not allowed to be more generous on yourself than you are with your wife. Men, you have to know this. Very important. Now, it then continues and says, he should not cast an excessive measure of fear over her. He should talk to her gently, being neither sad nor angry, meaning he has to treat his wife in a certain way. Shouldn't be the type of husband where it feels like it's a golden prison. Sometimes guys that are relatively successful, they give their wives everything. They give them a card, hey honey, buy whatever you want. And the wife cheats on them anyway. Or she's miserable, or she's taking a bunch of Xanax so she doesn't commit suicide. Why? Because that wife has everything except the husband. He goes away for a year at a time. He's in business. He's with the guys. He's at casinos. He's doing everything except hanging out with his wife. Now again, you're not supposed to be with your wife all the time, but you have to be a husband at some point or another. Don't think that if you just give her money, that's your solution to everything. It's your solution to marriage. Many guys think they can do whatever they want as long as they give their wife money. That's not what we're saying here. You have to be generous, but you also have to be a husband too. So, that, Rabotai, is with the Maaseh of the Sotah. Now that we finished the introduction, I'll give you a little bit more insights. Shlomo HaMelech says, Tochelet, I'll read it from the Psukim here. In Proverbs, chapter 13, verse number 12, says, Tochelet memushacha machala lev, ve'etz chaim ta'ava ba. Says, a drawn out hope brings sickness to the heart, but desire attained a tree of life. So Shlomo HaMelech says, if your desire for more, your desire for success becomes an obsession, you're going to make yourself sick, both spiritually and physically. Arav Mordechai Eliyahu, alav Shalom, was the Rishon LeZion, was like the Aaron HaKohen of the generation. Loved Am Yisrael, brought him to Torah. Whether you were religious or not, he spoke to you with a beautiful face, tried to get you closer to Hashem, and people would come to Arav Mordechai Eliyahu for blessings all the time. I saw as a side note, I saw a video one time of this scientist that discovered that your aura changes when you add spirituality to it, and you can record it. He invented a machine that could take a picture of your aura, this light that's around every single person, every single thing. It's an energy. And he said, look at this machine, and he would take pictures of people. He said that the average person has a standard aura, I believe, of yellow, but if their level of spirituality increases, they can get up to purple, which is the highest level, or actually white is perfect. Purple is practically an angel, and then other levels below it, but yellow is like normal. So in this book, Science Comes of Age, or The Coming Revolution, both same book by Rabbi Zamir Cohen, he has pictures of different people that put on tefillin and without the tefillin, and it shows that the people before the tefillin, their aura was yellow. After they put on tefillin, their aura became purple, meaning it improved the person's spirituality just simply by putting this tefillin on the head without praying. But then, as part of the video, the scientist went to Arav Mordechai Eliyahu, and he took a picture of him naturally without tefillin. He was purple. He naturally was better than people with tefillin on already, without anything. Then he told Kvod Arav, can you put on tefillin? And Rav Mordechai Eliyahu says, no, it takes a lot of efforts to put on tefillin. Not like us, 1, 2, 3, Baruch Atah Hashem, you forget the bracha, you forget it even if you said it, and you already finished in 5 minutes. No, he has all these kavanot, the names of Hashem, all types of Kabbalistic things that he would do, that would take him a lot of effort to put on tefillin. He says, no, let me just put on a talit. Talit! Fabric on your head, that's it. He records this. There's a video of this. He put on a talit, he became white. His aura became mamash white like an angel. That's Rav Mordechai Eliyahu. Just so you know what we're talking about. Now, Rav Mordechai Eliyahu had people come to him all the time asking for blessings. One time, this guy comes, and he's among the crowd, and he's asking the rabbi for a blessing, but the rabbi is ignoring him. Rav Mordechai Eliyahu is ignoring him, which is not like him. So one of the Hasidim there thought that maybe Rav Mordechai Eliyahu didn't notice him. So he came to the Rav, he said, Kvod Rav, the guy is sick, he has cancer. The guy told him, I have cancer, please, I need a blessing from the rabbi. Kvod Rav, the guy has the machala, lo alenu, maybe the Rav could give him a blessing. Rav Mordechai Eliyahu ignores him. Ignores the Hasid, ignores his own student. Nothing. Continues. So the guy that's sick, got frustrated, started pushing people around. I want a blessing, I want a blessing. Rav Mordechai Eliyahu looks at him and looks at everyone like as if it's something unusual. He goes, there's no need to push. Everyone knows that I see all of you here. And if I'm not blessing you, there's a reason. After the guy left, the Hasidim said, Kvod Rav, Lamdeni, like teach us, why? Every other person he blesses, this one guy doesn't get a blessing? He says, the machala that he has, cancer, what is it, Bennett? Nobody knew this guy. But Rav Mordechai says, this machala, what is it, Bennett? It's a cell that continues to grow and grow and grow. Why? It's not happy with its share. It wants more space, more room, more of the body until it kills the person. Hashem Yerachem. It's not happy with what it has. The only one that can tell this cell to stop is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But he doesn't say stop to someone that doesn't stop himself when it comes to other people's wives. There's a reason why I didn't bless him. What he's getting, no blessing can help him. It's measure for what he did. Hashem Yerachem. You have to have Ruach HaKodesh to do such a thing. But the point is, Rabotai, we see here, the Chachamim, it's not, oh, I bless you, 1, 2, 3, go. When they give somebody a blessing, it takes a lot. I asked Rav Ephraim one time. I said, Rav, can you do me a favor, bless this guy? He goes, I don't know, who is he? Do you know him? I said, no, he's just asking for a blessing. I said, no, please. So why not? Just bless the guy. He just wants a blessing, bless him. He goes, it takes a lot for me to bless somebody. It's a huge token on the tzaddik to bless someone. Why? Because when you even go and visit a sick person, you take a 60th of their illness. To that extent. You bless another sick person, you go visit a sick person, you bless them, you're taking a 60th of their illness. Somebody came to the Chafetz Chaim when he was young. Told Kvod Rabbi, I have this disease, please help me, everything else failed. Chafetz Chaim says to him, go to this rabbi in this town, tell him to bless you, and everything is going to be okay. The guy leaves. It's okay, I told Chafetz Chaim was the one to go to, but the Chafetz Chaim sent me somewhere else, so he goes somewhere else. He goes to the other guy. The other rabbi doesn't know why the Chafetz Chaim, one of the Gedolei Hador, is sending this guy to him. Says, he sent you to me to get a blessing? Me? Because what do I know? Listen, he says, you're the tzaddik that has the blessing. Please don't let me down. I'm sick. I'm dying. Goes, okay, Misha Barach, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, gives the guy a blessing. As you would have it, Ishtabach Shimon Ad, the guy's healed. Now, as a side note, the Chafetz Chaim told him, go there, he'll give you the blessing, you'll be healed, but there's one condition. Don't ever tell anyone where I sent you and how you got cured. That's the deal. The guy says, no problem, just cure me, what do I care? No one has this disease anyway. It was one of those rare diseases, Hashem Yachem. The guy gets cured. 20 years pass. 20 years pass. His granddaughter gets the same sickness. All the doctors are dumbfounded. No one has a cure still. No one knows what to do. But all of a sudden everybody remembers. Wait. Saba had it 20 years ago. Saba, where'd you go? What'd you do? He goes, I went to the Chafetz Chaim. Then what happened? No, I can't tell you. I can't say. Can't say what happened. What do you mean? What? No, you have to tell us. No, come on. She's dying. You should be ashamed of yourself. It's your granddaughter. You wanted to die. She's so young. She's so this. She's so that. The guy broke. He said, okay, fine. I told you I went to Chafetz Chaim, and he sent me to some other tzaddik. The next day, he got the disease back. The next day, he got the disease back. Now, him and the granddaughter have it. He goes back to the Chafetz Chaim. He says, Kvod Harav, please help me, please. Where's this other tzaddik? He goes, no, don't worry, it's not going to help you. Well, why not? Why not? He goes, he didn't really help you in the first place. He goes, so who helped me? He says, I took it on you. What? What do you mean you took it? He goes, I took the disease for you. I did something to take on the Yisurim, the suffering that you're going to have for the next 20 years. I took it on myself. Because I felt so bad for you. You said you had kids, and you were crying, and you looked so helpless. I said, Hashem, I'll take it. Okay, Kvod Harav, please help me again. He goes, I'm sorry. At my old age, I don't have the strength to do it again. I don't have the strength to do it again. When a person is not happy with what he has, it'll only lead him to trouble. Another story about Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, a Tunisian young couple comes to him. Husband says, I want to throw out this woman. Why? She's no good, she's this, she's that. No, Bemet, what's the reason? She embarrassed me. She's tzadikah, what's wrong with her? Listen, we just got married. And at a party, and guys were there, and they saw my wife. She's all this, ancient, kisui rosh, and they told me, what, did you marry the Ben Ish Chai? Go marry a more modern-looking woman that's more like, with the guys. Your wife doesn't even talk to us. She doesn't even say hello. What kind of wife is this? Go marry one of the, this Israeli woman that gives us high five. What's up? How you doing? Has some beers with the guys. The guy, stupid, listened to his friends. Says to the rabbi, I don't want this wife. I just got married to her. I don't want her. She's not good for me. I need somebody better. Divorced her. Go and found himself one of the girls that says what's up to guys. Public property. So he marries this girl. So he wants to show off to his friends. His wife, she wears a tank top instead of a dress. Her hair is everywhere instead of kisui rosh. She sees guys. She says, what's up? They say, you want a beer? She says, I already have one. One of those girls. So he brings his friends to the house. Come see my wife. Brings the guys to the wife. The wife is sitting down with the guys. Yeah, ha. Everybody's laughing. Ha. She's one of the guys, right? So the husband sees that, everybody's happy with his wife. He says, honey, get us a couple of beers. This wife says, you get up, get yourself a couple of beers. What am I, your slave? Now this husband is old-fashioned. He's not used to a woman talking to him this way. He goes, woman, you go get me another beer. Woman took the bottle, smashed him on his head, broke his head in front of all of his friends. He's in the hospital for the next 3 weeks. Stitches everywhere. His whole head plop like a melon. One of the guys. He got one of the guys. So now, as soon as he got out of the hospital, he got to divorce this woman. He said, what did I do to myself? I had an eshet chayil with kisui rosh, modest, doesn't talk to men because she's not supposed to. She's not supposed to be one of the guys. She's my wife, not one of the guys. This idiot realized he made the mistake of his life. He goes on all fours to his first wife. His wife, Bat Yisrael, she never been with another guy in her life. Says, listen, who says I want to be with you? Okay, you made your mistakes. You go and married Satan's wife. That's your problem. Who says that I want you back? Please, please, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I love you. I diss you. I'll honor you. I'll kiss you. I'll do. She says, listen, the only way that I'll come back to you is if the head Rav of all of the Tunisians was Rav Rafael Kabir Saban. If Rav Saban says, okay, says for me to go, I'll go. Now, how are you going to get to the head rabbi of all the people? This guy didn't know his right and left, but he had somebody that was connected to Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, Rishon LeZion. Goes to Rav Mordechai Eliyahu. He tells Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, please help me, he tells him the whole story. So Rav Mordechai Eliyahu says, okay, I'll go to Rav Saban together, and we'll get his permission. They go. Rav Saban says, after Amalek's wife opened his head, he allowed some sechel, some common sense to enter. So it's okay now. He'll respect his first wife. She can go back to him now. Now he has some common sense after she opened his head, split it open. Like a melon, okay, now he'll respect his first wife. Sometimes, Rabotai, sometimes we're not happy with what we have. We ask for more. We get ourselves in trouble. Now, one of the biggest tragedies that we have in our generation is the addiction that people have to wasting seed. Now, we've talked about this many times. We have, Baruch Hashem, many shiurim about this topic. But everybody knows that wasting seed doesn't happen by itself. It all begins with the eyes. As the Gemara Masechet Avodah Zarah says, you should be careful at the things that you see during the day, so the Ra, the evil, does not come to you at night. Chachamim say, what's Ra? Ra is wasting seed. We learned that from the story of Eren Onan in the book of Bereshit, where it says what they did was Ra be'enei Hashem, was evil in the eyes of Hashem. Chachamim say from there we learn that wasting seed, being promiscuous, and all of the immorality is considered evil in the eyes of Hashem. Now, there's nothing new under the sun. Wasting seed is literally in Sefer Bereshit. Adam HaRishon left his wife after the sin. The Zohar Kadosh says he left his wife to do tshuva. He thought that if he leaves his wife, he's going to be able to get closer to Hashem. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu already said, a man is not supposed to be alone. He has to be with a wife. It's not good for a man to be alone. Why? Because the Gemara says, a wife, if she takes care of his children and she keeps him away from immorality, she's a eshet chayil. Because a man, it's impossible for him not to waste seed. Impossible. Either he's going to do it with someone or by himself. If he's with his wife, it's not wasting seed, it's allowed. As long as it goes in the right place, he's allowed, perfectly fine, mitzvah. But if he does it by himself, or he does it with a woman that's not his wife, or he does it with a prostitute, or a goya, or whatever it is, an animal, whatever he does it with, it's all sins. Adam HaRishon made a mistake. What did he do? He left his wife thinking, I'm going to get closer to Hashem. Say, I'm sorry for eating from the tree of knowledge. He left her for almost 130 years. Problem is, during that 130 years, he wasted seed. All of the demons in the world came from him. Meaning that wasting seed already started at Sefer Bereshit. Continued already at Yehuda and Tamar. The sons, Er and Onan, the sons of Yehuda, wasted seed. Hashem killed them. So this is in creation. Wasting seed is not a new thing. What's new then? What's the chidush? The chidush is, Rabotai, this generation has two problems. One, lack of knowledge. We are the generation of ignorance. We do not know anything about anything. Even the things we think we know about, we don't know. And two, we have too much information available to us too easy, to the extent that we become addicted to things very quickly. Now, many scientists did not believe that pornography is something that is addictive until many other scientists proved them wrong. There is a extensive paper written by a group of different scientists, neurologists, psychiatrists, psychologists, all types of papers from different universities about the addiction of pornography. And they call it the new drug. Fighting the new drug, how porn changes the brain. And it literally says that what they found in their research, it's very, very interesting, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, is that pornography is no less addictive than the hardest drugs in the world. When the Rambam wrote in Halacha that the biggest addiction a human being can have is to waste seed, is immorality, he wasn't saying it as a suggestion or as a possibility or as his opinion. He was saying it as this is divine information. When the scientists, the neurologists, and all the researchers came together and discovered the same thing, all they did is discover what was already written in the Torah for 3,000 years. Now, why did the scientists arrive at this conclusion? That pornography, the first stage that leads to wasting seed, is something that's addictive. Says that what happens with pornography is that it triggers a protein called delta phos B. Delta phos B is one of the things that a person, in essence, gets pleasure from, but it's also one of the things that connects to addiction. Drug addiction, sex addiction, money addiction, all types of addictions. In essence, this particular protein is confused, thinking now after he saw that him seeing this immodesty, this pritzut, led to a good feeling, it now connects the brain to think that every time he sees this filth, it's going to lead to good. So now what happens is a kid doesn't know right or left, 12, 13, 14 years old, gets a phone, goes on a computer, has free access, goes on the internet, starts looking at pornography, things he's never even imagined in his worst dreams, and he gets pleasure as a result of it, thinking it's not a big deal. Even sometimes the parents do it next to the kids, Hashem Yachem. I have one kid telling me that his father watches it in the living room, no problem. I said, you must have done some serious sins in your previous life to have such a father. Shem Yachem, what kind of people we have in the world today. In the old generation, at least, people would be ashamed of it. They would do it privately. Today, they do it openly, in the office, next to the guys. Hey, come look at this. That's what people do today. They have no shame whatsoever. Why? Because they're all addicted to it. The girls and the guys, not just the guys. Guess what? Research says pornography sites have more members that are women than men. Surprise, surprise, of the sick generation we live in. More members that are women than men. That's how low we are. That's how low women think of themselves. Now guys see this, girls see this, they get a certain pleasure as a result of seeing this filth, this animalistic behavior, and now this particular protein programs their brain to think that every time they see nakedness, it will lead to good. Hence the addiction to immodesty, not only of what you see, but the immodesty of how you dress, the immodesty of how you behave, the immodesty of how you look at the world. Women ask me all the time, wait a minute, if Hashem created us, what difference is it to him if I'm wearing clothes or not? He knows what I look like naked. It's not about how Hashem looks at you, you fool. It's about how you look at yourself, how you value yourself. But the problem is, when you are addicted to filth, you don't value yourself. You value what people perceive you as. If they perceive you as pretty, you feel pretty. If they perceive you as ugly, you feel ugly. That's at least theoretically. What's the funny thing is? Funny thing is that the prettiest women are the most self-conscious people on earth. Why? Because once you are addicted to other people's perception of you, guess what? It's never enough. You're always going to think they don't think you're pretty. You're always going to think they think that there's something wrong with you. Why? Because you're too dependent on other people's opinion instead of your own opinion. No, I'm dressing like this for myself. Bupkis. No, I like to wear this clothes. It makes me feel good about myself. Bupkis. Liar. You're a filthy liar even to yourself. What's the proof? If you were stuck on an island by yourself, your next door neighbor was a monkey, a chimpanzee, and a giraffe, would you still wear that filthy clothes and put makeup on that's 3 pounds thick? No. Why? Because no one's there to look at you. Meaning the only reason you're wearing 3 inches worth of makeup and clothes that are better fit for underwear is because you want other people to look at you. Because you're a self-conscious person. It's sad. You have all the tools in the world to be happy as can possibly be, regardless of what you look like. Why? You're God's daughter, for heaven's sake. What else do you need? What is ashir? Ashir means wealthy. What's really ashir? Ain, enaim. Shin, shinaim. Yud, yadayim. Resh, raglaim. You have eyes, you have teeth, you have arms, your legs, you're rich. You're beautiful, you're perfect. That's all you need. You don't need a 6-pack and a 2-pack and a 1-pack and eyes here and eyes there and arms here. You don't need any of that stuff. There's somebody for somebody everywhere. Trust me, I deal with this. I deal with a lot of people in my life. I see people. Somebody asks me for a shidduch. I say, B'ezrat Hashem, I'll try to find you somebody. Sometimes they're good-looking people. Sometimes they're ugly people. It's not for me to judge. But you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Sometimes some guy that looks like he just came out of a cave, he hasn't seen a man in his life, finds the most beautiful woman in the world. How? She finds him beautiful. She finds him fine. She's attracted to him. Who am I to say no? Or vice versa. Sometimes you look like a guy, he looks like a statue that came from some comic book or something, but his wife looks like she has no size. She's the size of everything. She fits in everything. She's like water. But he likes it. He loves it. Good for you. That's your taste. Congratulations. Who am I to tell you what to like? The point is, Rabotai, there's somebody for somebody. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that is mezavek zivugim. You depend on other people's taste, other people's visions, you're going to live a very poor life. And what happens is with those people, they end up being very lonely. And when you're very lonely, you end up doing many, many mistakes. One of them is getting addicted to pornography. Scientists confirm that it's an addiction no less than drugs. There are sex centers in every single community now because of the addictions that people have. Everywhere there are sex addicts. It's not a thing. It's a reality. It all starts with yourself. Rabbi Nachman Breslev Alav Shalom says in Likutei Maharan, person is promiscuous with himself, eventually is promiscuous with the opposite sex. Promiscuous with the opposite sex, eventually same sex. Why? It's not enough. He wants taboo. By himself is not enough. Watching a certain type of filth. So he watches some other filth. Eventually he wants to fulfill that filth. It wasn't enough for him to see normal filth. So now he wants to see abnormal. Young guy in his 20s. Says he went to yeshiva his whole life. Sends me a message. Says, Rabbi, is there any permission in the Torah for me to look at naked pictures of boys? I said, excuse me? Figuring it's girls. No, boys. I said, you know you're going to become a pedophile, right? He goes, yeah, most likely you're right. He goes, but I'm not doing anything. I'm just looking. I said, yeah, that's how it starts. You don't start controlling yourself of what you're looking at, eventually you're going to become the next pedophile. He won't give me his name, though. Trying to help the guy. Won't help himself. I don't need his name to help him. The point is, some people don't want to help themselves. Why? They don't realize there's something wrong. Something wrong. There's a screw loose. Another person calls me not too long ago. Says I sent my child to the best schools in the world. I said, okay, what's the problem? They're just about to turn 30 years old. I said, okay, so what's the problem? 30 happens eventually. That's a good thing. He says, yeah, the problem is, he just called me and says, Ima, I don't want to be a woman anymore. I want to be a man. So she went to public school? She says, no, she went to the best Bet Yaakov. She had boyfriends? She goes, never. She's a virgin. She got traumatized, raped, something? She goes, never, nothing. Says, something's wrong. It's not normal. She's been watching something, doing something. It's not normal to get to this. These problems are coming from religious houses. Needless to say, there's 50 million times more of it in non-religious houses. It all starts with where your eyes go. People are addicted to pornography. This is what happens. Unfortunately, there are many websites out there that try to protect people by saying guard yourself in different ways, put filters on the internet, put filters. Kol hakavod for the filters, but I'm sorry, it's not going to work. Why? There's no filter for the people's desires other than Yirat Shamayim. You could filter as much as you want. You can filter the phone as much as you want, the computer as much as you want. Guess what? They'll find another computer. They'll find another phone. I got a yeshiva guy 4 years ago. Yeshiva guy, Avrech. He's already in his 30s. Says to me, I'm sorry, I have to tell you, you're the only one that can help me. I said, why? He goes, because you don't know me and you talk about it. I said, what happened to you? He says, I'm addicted to pornography. I said, how? Well, get a sensor, get a filter, get a something. He goes, I have all of them. I said, okay, take out the TV from your house. He goes, Chas v'shalom, you think I have a TV in my house? He goes, what, you think I'm a goy? I said, no, I'm sorry. I was new already at the time. I said, no, I don't know. I figured you watch pornography, you have a TV in your house. He goes, what, you think my wife is, what do you think? Go yelled at me. I said, no, okay, so how do you watch pornography? On your phone? He goes, what do you think? I don't have a filter on my phone? So I said, okay, so how do you do it? He says to me this. He says, once a month, we go to family's house. And they have a computer without a filter. I say, and? He goes, that's it. I said, wait, you're telling me that the whole month you're just waiting for this 1 hour you have with this computer? He says, yes. I said, you are sick. Baruch Hashem, he stopped being sick. I helped him. How? No filter in the world is going to help him. You know what helped him? Yirat Shamayim. I explained to him what kind of genom they're going to rip him apart in. I told him, watch the shiur about wasting seed. Watch the shiur about Gehenom. He watched it, Baruch Hashem, he's helping other people do tshuva today. Why? Yirat Shamayim is the only thing that can help people stop. The filters could contain you to a certain extent, could stop you, can make it a little more difficult, but if your desire is uncontrollable, it'll just get worse. It won't get better. Why? Because everything we just said is already written in the Torah. Where? Gemara, Masechet Yomah, page 29, says a parable. It's very hard to understand, but Be'ezrat Hashem, I had a chidush, and I verified with my Rabbi, it's emet. It says the following: Hirurei avera kashu me'avera, v'simaneh recha de bisra, shileh dekat. I'll just read it in English. The thoughts of sin are worse than the sin itself. The thoughts of sin are worse than the sin itself. Once you get the junk into your mind, it's already worse than the sin itself. We'll explain in a second why. But why does the Gemara say it is? Why is this, the thought of the sin worse than the sin? This doesn't make any sense. So the Gemara is going to tell us why. It says, to remember this, there's a mnemonic. There's something that's going to help you remember that the thought of the sin is worse than the sin. What's the mnemonic? The aroma of roasting meat. The aroma of roasting meat. Because roasting meat, in essence, is a someone that has a sexual desire. It's like not having what he wants. So it's like, in essence, if somebody has a desire for something has a desire to eat meat, he's hungry, and you put meat in front of him, but you're not allowed to eat it. His desire gets worse. And further, the end of summer is worse than the beginning of summer. Mufashim say, what does it mean end of summer is worse than summer? He says that the end of the month Elul, the sun is much more dangerous because at that time already people have been in the sun already for a couple of months. So the sun at the end of that month is more dangerous because you already have a lot of tan. So a little bit of sun can cause even more, more damage because you've already been exposed to sun. Further, says that a heated oven. This is like a heated oven. The thought of sin is like a heated oven. The winter fever is stronger than the summer. And a cold oven. And relearning old things, forgotten information is harder than acquiring new knowledge. Just as cement is more difficult to make from existing cement than from old cement than from existing cement. So all of this parable is like, might as well be Chinese to a bunch of English speakers. What's the Chidush? Chidush explains what the Gemara is trying to tell us here. Simply said, everything we just said, that's what the Gemara is saying. Everything we just said for 20 minutes straight, that's what the Gemara is saying. How? Following. Why are the thoughts of sin worse than the sin itself? The thoughts come from not watching your eyes. Because what is the thought? It's the intellect. It's the intellect. Whereas the sin itself is a reality. It's your body itself. Even if somebody is promiscuous, like we said earlier, even if somebody's promiscuous and they want to be with just anybody, they still have to find just anybody. And there's just so many people that would agree with you. Whether you're male or female. Even a female, there's just so many. She can't do it all the time, every day, and so on. Man even less, normally speaking. But when it's the intellect, when the sin is in your mind, when it comes from pornography, That sin is literally in your mind at all times. You can think filth all the time. You go to the store, there's a woman cashier, you think about her. You look at your cousin, you think about her. You look at a classmate, you think about her. Teacher, you think about her. Gas tank, you think about her. Magazine, think about her. Billboard, think about her. The milk carton, you think about her. TV, you think about her. Every single place, you think about her. Better yet, you start looking at things as images. And you start thinking, this looks like her. Everything starts looking to you like this. Why? Because it's a sin of the mind. And the mind has no limitations like the body. You start looking at different things. This is a shape. One woman asked me about a dress. I asked the Rabbanit about this dress. Is this dress kosher? She says no. I said, why? It covers everything from head to toe. The neck, everything, the line. She goes, yeah, but it has a design. I said, yeah, a lot of things have design. She goes, no. Pay attention to the design. The design has a certain triangle that ends exactly at the member, at the private part of a woman. That's what guys are going to look at. They're not going to look at the long sleeves and the long dress. They're going to look at the design of this triangle. That's how sick the sick mind is. But that's what a Bat Yisrael needs to think about. That's what the husband needs to think about also. Because a sick mind has no limitations. So the thoughts of sin are worse than the sin. But further, what does this mean? Because the thoughts also train the person. When you start watching things that are filthy, you start watching pornography, what ends up happening is you train your mind to things that are unrealistic. You start thinking that everything is supposed to be that way. Like these filthy people that their whole life is this toiva. You think that your wife is supposed to look like this. You think that your wife is supposed to do things like this. That this is the way you're supposed to get pleasure. This is the way your husband is supposed to look like. This is the way you're supposed to get pleasure. That's why the guy has crazy psychotic thoughts of maybe we should ask your friend to come over more often. And all types of disgusting things that religious guys tell their wives sometimes. I'm not talking about the non-religious world. Hashem Yerachem, what's happening over there? There are certain communities where the guys have it as a thing where they switch wives. And it's normal and accepted. There's television shows about how they do this. Oh, you'll be my wife for this month, and my wife will be his wife for this month. With everything included. This is what you're having your kids watch if you have a television at home. No, my kids don't watch this. You bet you are. Yes, they are. They definitely are. You have a TV, you have free internet in your house. They're allowed to see whatever they want. They're definitely watching this filth. How do I know? I talk to those kids all day. That's what they're watching. Guys that watch, girls that watch pornography, they start training their mind to unrealistic circumstances. And therefore, the Gemara continues, it's like the aroma of meat. What do you mean, the aroma of meat? Aroma of meat to someone who can't eat. Meaning that the smell of the meat is much more enticing than the meat itself. Why? Because the smell of the meat gives you unrealistic expectations. When you smell the meat, it always smells delicious. You want to eat it. You want to have all of it. You want to have the whole cow. Once you have a bite, it's not that good. It's not always as good as it smelled. That's pornography. You think, oh, I'm going to get married, so I'm going to get a wife or a husband like this. I'm going to get that girl, so she's going to do this, and she's going to, and then once he makes the act, it wasn't that great after all. Why? He has unrealistic expectations. He thinks she's going to be like the prostitute on TV. She thinks he's going to be like that filthy animal on television. She doesn't realize that's not real life. The meat is not like the aroma. Those unrealistic expectations end up arriving at the limited reality that we have and the limited pleasure that we have, which disappoint an endless amount of people and lead to an endless amount of divorces. There are countless men and women that are married to beautiful people that file for divorces weekly. Celebrities, for the most part, are generally beautiful people. That's part of the reason they became celebrities. Yet they all get married and divorced 4, 5, 6, 7, numberless counts. Numberless times. Why? He's beautiful. She's beautiful. Why would you divorce such a beautiful thing? He's rich. He's beautiful. What's wrong with him? She's ugly. She's ugly. He's ugly. How could you see them as ugly? Because they have unrealistic expectations. They thought that the aroma of the meat will be just like the meat, and they realize, after all said and done, it's not. It's a disappointment. Why? Because they've trained themselves already for something unrealistic that's unattainable. They can't even get what they want ever. It's only a matter of time for them to be sick of whatever good they have anyway. Even what they have that they think is good now eventually will become old news. That's why the divorce rate is only a matter of time in the secular world, in the celebrity world. It's not maybe they will, it's a matter of time. 5 years, if they make it that long. 10 years, 20 years, depends how famous he or she is. But it's a matter of time. You know what they celebrate in the celebrity world? Oh, this superstar is married to his wife for 20 years. So, kol hakavod, what, he wants to clap for you? That's the way it's supposed to be, Habibi. They're celebrating the guy's married to the same woman for 20 years like he's some big shot now. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's how awful their world is. That's how awful the secular world is. Now, the Gemara continues. Because of these unrealistic expectations, therefore the summer is more dangerous. The end of the summer is more dangerous than the beginning of the summer. Meaning that once a person trains themselves, and in essence, trains themselves for disgustingness, trains themselves for immorality, and makes themselves addicted to this stuff, they in essence become much more vulnerable to do it again. Once you've watched pornography once or twice, that's it. You're much more vulnerable to press play again. You're much more vulnerable to be promiscuous. You're much more vulnerable to do bad things. Why? Because to you it became the new normal. It became allowed. It became, not so much the forbidden fruit, but rather, it's not so bad after all. Gemara says after you make the same sin twice, it becomes allowed in your mind. Yetzirah tells you it's allowed. That's why the end of the summer is more dangerous than the beginning of the summer. In the beginning, before you watched it, you weren't as vulnerable. It was something you never saw before. But once you become addicted to pornography, now you're much more vulnerable. Anybody says, oh, come look at this, you're going. Somebody says, come to this filthy club, you're going. Somebody says, you want to go a double date, going. Doesn't matter, married, not married, busy, not busy. Doesn't make a difference. What? You're vulnerable, you're addicted. It's easier to repeat the sin even further when the sin is a thought. That's why it says the sin of thought is worse than the sin itself. Because now that you've seen pornography, you're much more vulnerable to make that sin over and over in your mind. You can make the sin in the middle of the afternoon. You're at work, you're in your office, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. Somebody upsets you. You remember in your mind the last time you were upset, the way you relieved yourself that made yourself not upset is you went and did some filthy things. So what do? You go to the bathroom, you go to some place, you go to your car, you go to some filthy place, half-hour break, you're finished. Some guys are so addicted, they do it in school, they do it in everywhere. They do it all day, all night, girls too. Why? They're addicted. And they don't even realize it's a disease. It's like having cancer and AIDS at the same time and thinking you're perfectly healthy. That's what pornography is. You're so vulnerable to make the sin endless times. Because it's a sin of thought, you could access that thought in a second. Whereas if it was a physical sin, it'll take time to fulfill that sin. But when it's thought, 2 seconds. Press the button, you have a phone in front of you, finished. Computer, finished. Television, finished. Go to the street, finished. You can just go to the store. Depends how sick you are. Some people could literally look at a pole and that's it. That's enough. Therefore, the Gemara continues, the person becomes like a heated oven. Why heated oven? Because rekindling the heated oven is much easier than rekindling an oven that's shut off completely. Because the oven, the old days, they had an oven, that fire. Turn off the oven, you turn off the fire, but the fire doesn't really turn off completely. Even if you put water on it, there's always still a few sparks here and there. Especially if it's still hot, you want to put the fire up loud again, 2 seconds. A guy is addicted to pornography, a woman is addicted to filth. Guess what? Even if she's trying to stop, 2 seconds, she's back to filth again. Even if he's trying to stop, 2, 3, 4 days, he sees some billboard, back to it again. As if nothing happened, as if he didn't watch. Very difficult to do tshuva. That's why the Zohar Kadosh says to do tshuva for wasting seed is impossible. Not impossible per se that you can't do it. Impossible per se that Hashem is not going to help you. You have to do it yourself. Why? Because the sin is so great. Hashem says, if you really want to do tshuva for it, you have to do it yourself. So a heated oven is much easier to rekindle. Someone that's already addicted to pornography is unfortunately, much more vulnerable, and they continue failing. And therefore, the winter fever is much more dangerous than the summer fever. Why? Why is the winter fever much more dangerous than the summer fever? That this means that there's a stronger addiction to this than natural intimacy. When a person is addicted to wasting seed or pleasuring themselves in whatever form or another, this, Rabotai Yekarim, leads a person to become more addicted to this than even natural intimacy. Hence the reason why this is a problem in many houses where the people are married and they have a relatively healthy sex life. Meaning even if the wife wants to be with him whenever he wants, whenever it's allowed, and the husband is okay, the guys that are addicted to pornography will still waste seed many times unless they have Yirat Shamayim. Why? It's much easier. He doesn't have to wine and dine, doesn't have to convince anyone, doesn't have to wait for a certain time of the month, or when the kids are sleeping, or when the lights are off or on. All he's got to do is do his filth, go to the bathroom, go to his room, go to his car, go to hell, wherever he's going to make the sin, and that's it, he's finished. Same thing with the wife. I don't have to have this, the whole thing. She does it also. Why? Because they're already mentally sick, and they don't realize they're sick. Hence, that the reason why they're saying that the fever of winter is more dangerous than the summer is because it lasts longer. The addiction is much more difficult to overcome. The fever of the winter is much more difficult to overcome than the fever of the summer. This type of addiction, that's a mental sin, is much more difficult to overcome. Why? Because it's literally more addictive than the physical part. Meaning even if somebody was addicted to being with another person all the time, they won't be as addicted to that as they are to themselves. Because it's so much easier, so much more convenient, and so much more addictive, if you will. And then the Gemara continues. It says that it's like a cold oven. Once a person gets addicted to pornography, he becomes like a cold oven that is much more difficult to light up. Light up with musar. Light up with emet. It's much more difficult to wake a sleepy neshama to do tshuva when they're addicted to wasting seed, to promiscuity, to immorality. They're like a cold oven. A cold oven is harder to ignite than an oven that's just sitting there, or perhaps even a hot oven. There's ice everywhere. That's what this pornography does. That's what this immorality does. You're constantly sinning in your mind, so to get you out of the filth is much more difficult. It's not enough to tell you about Gehinom. It's not enough to tell you about Kafakela. It's not enough to tell you about Yirat Shamayim. You have to tell the person how they're ruining their own life by showing them what's happening with their own life. Look, your wife is unhappy with you, right? Yeah, how did you know? That's because our neshama knows that you're cheating on her. Your wife doesn't want to be with you as often, right? Yeah, how did you know? That's because our neshama knows that you're cheating on her. Your money, every time you make money, it's always being spent on bills and IRS and doctor bills, and you don't have enough money ever, even though you got a raise every year since you started, right? Yeah, how'd you know? That's because all the shefa that Hashem gives you, you're wasting it. You start showing them that all of the curses of the Torah that are mentioned by the Chachamim are actually happening in his life. You don't look as good as you were younger, right? You're starting to lose hair, right? Yeah, how'd you know? Did you ever see me? No, but I know what happens. You have a bald spot, you're only 25, right? Yeah, how'd you know? That's because that's what happens also. You always feel oily, right? Yeah, how'd you know? That's because that's what happens. Your skin becomes oily. You start becoming disgusting. Ever notice that you always smell bad? Yeah, how'd you know? That's what happens. What are you, a prophet? No, I just read books. That's what happens. That's what the Chachamim say happens. Not all of it, all to one person, but for sure one of them and many others. That's what happens. You start showing people this stuff is not just a punishment in Gehinom that they don't even know what it is yet and have a hard believing in it. Hard time believing in it. You show them in their own life. That's why that first shiur about wasting seed is so popular, because not just talking about Gehinom and the dangerous part, but it's also talking about the stuff that happens in this world to people. Marriages break up, difficulty finding a shidduch, people are cheating on you, people are lying to you, losing money, problems with all types of parnasah, all types of health issues, all types of weird things with your body. You start seeing things, weird stuff happening when you go to sleep, see all types of beings, everything looks like a face to you, all types of wonderful stuff that you definitely don't want in your life. You go on the internet, you go type in night terrors, you see how many hundreds of videos people made about night terrors, but nobody has the reason except the Torah. Anyone that has night terrors, it's only happening because of wasting seed. And Avodah Zarah, that's usually two are connected. Because wasting seed, according to the Gemara, is the same thing as Avodah Zarah. That's what Avodah Zarah requires, blood or seed. So now when someone is already addicted to this mental sin of pornography, they're like a cold oven, the Gemara says. Harder to help them. Because now that they're addicted to something that's unnatural, they see things on TV that are unnatural. Men and women doing things that are unnatural, not normal. That means that even if they try to stop and they get married to a normal person, it's going to be a little bit of time before they get used to it and actually enjoy it. Because their level of good and bad and their appreciation of good and bad and generally their senses altogether are off. They're not going to be happy with normal for a while because they're used to things that are not normal. I remember on Wall Street, I had a guy work for me. This guy, sick person, sickest person I ever met, came from a very, very rich family. He said during his teenage years, he used to crash Ferraris and Porsches for fun. That's how much money he came up with. This guy, you can give him 50 women. He won't be happy with any one of them. Marry all 50, divorce all 50, give him another 50, still won't be happy. Why? He's destroyed all of his senses of normalcy. All senses of normalcy. Unfortunately, kids are doing this to themselves all day, every day today. by watching this filth on the internet and on TV and on all types of places. It's harder to get those people off because they're now no longer going to view natural things as good. They're not going to, those normal things are not going to meet their standards due to their addiction to all types of fantastical things. And that's why the next part of the Gemara says, returning the old info is harder, meaning remembering something, old memory is harder than relearning something that was forgotten, is harder than acquiring new information. Relearning the old information, meaning you used to know, remember that normal intimacy was good for you. You thought it was good, it was pleasurable to you. But now it's become old. And re-educating the guy that old is actually the good is much more difficult. Because you have to remove the filth that he's replaced it with. You have to re-educate him about standards. And that's why the last part of the Gemara says that making cement is more difficult if you're going to make it from old cement than from new cement. Once a person breaks all of their senses of normalcy, it's much more difficult to bring them back into a whole person than to train your children already as young kids not to waste seed. If you give me a school of kids, you're going to see those kids growing up, Be'ezrat Hashem, Kedoshim. Why? The vast majority of them are going to be Kedoshim. Why? Because as soon as they enter the school, whether they're 6 years old or 16, they're going to start getting trickling of information from a Torah that has to do with Gam Brit, along with many other things of information. Why? Because you're supposed to teach this to kids. Not by the time it's too late. Some people are foolish. I had some Rasha over here in Florida, in North Miami Beach, telling me, no, I don't agree with your teaching. You're teaching Gam Brit to teenagers. I said, who am I supposed to teach it to? People that already ruined their brit already by the time they're your age, at 40, 50 years old. Teach them when they're teenagers, so hopefully they're not too addicted to it. There's still hope. But if you wait for them to turn 25, 35 already, it's too late already. They're already addicted to it. They've been doing it for 15, 20 years. Good luck fixing that. You know how hard it is to fix that? For every one guy, for every one male that's 30 years old that we helped them do tshuva for wasting seed, we probably helped 50 kids. Even though the kids did it much more often, much more addicted to it, it wasn't a long-lasting addiction. Just like the Gemara says, it wasn't broken already. Their senses of normalcy haven't been broken yet. Whereas the guy that's 30, 40, 50 years old, he's broken a lot of his normalcy. You have to literally retrain the guy. Takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but it works eventually. The point is, Rabotai, that everything that the scientists recently discovered from different neurological experiments, psychological experiments, and so on, already is written in the Gemara. It's written in a certain way that's hard to understand unless you study the subject deeply, but simply said, the thoughts of sin are worse than the sin itself. Why? Because you can make many more sins in your mind than you can make in your physical self. This is why you have to protect your eyes no matter whether you're male or female. And this has a lot to do with everything that we talked about today. If the man or woman understands that whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you is yours, whatever He didn't give you is not yours. Don't desire more. If you already start training yourself not to desire more than what you have and be happy with what you have, automatically it will help you with everything else we talked about. Because if you know that He gave you a wife, that means that the only woman you're allowed to look at is your wife, you're not going to desire more. Why? You know that the only woman you're allowed to look at is your wife. Naturally, what ends up happening, your wife becomes the most beautiful person on earth in your eyes. Why? Because she's the only one you stare at. Other women you see that pass you, say hello, they're a colleague, but you never stare at any other woman. Why? They're not your wife. Your wife, you stare at her as much as you want. Honey, you're so beautiful. Yeah, honey, what are you talking about? I'm wearing pajamas. Wow, how beautiful. He goes, you're the most beautiful thing on earth. Honey, I haven't put on makeup in 3 weeks. Amazing. I don't know, maybe you're made out of gold. What are you talking about? They're feeding you drugs in Kolel? Yes, drugs of Kedusha. Why? You're the only woman I can see. A guy that watches his eyes, naturally his wife looks more beautiful to him every day. Doesn't matter how much she weighs and how little she weighs and what she eats and what she doesn't eat. As long as she's Kedusha, as long as she also preserves herself, as long as she's Tznuah. If she's Putza, Hashem Yirachem. This also leads to the next point. This is why it's in every woman's best interest to never ever wear a wig. Never wear a wig no matter what your husband says. Because by wearing a wig, forget about the other argument that we've mentioned already for 4 years about immodesty and about the Avodah Zarah and it's coming from India. Put that aside for a second. Every smart woman will never ever wear a wig. And the reason why, the second you put on a wig, you're giving your husband full permission to look at every woman. Why? They look just like you. They look just like you. Oh, I didn't know she's married. Oh, I didn't. Oh, she's married. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know. That's why the people that fight for wigs the most are guys. Reshaim. Reshaim, some of them call themselves Chabadniks. Some of them call themselves all types of other Jews and so on. Biggest Reshaim in the world. Why? Woman having a wig gives you permission to look at women. Why? It's not enough to be modest with a mitpachat. I need to be superstar. I need to look like the goyim. I need to be beautiful in the streets, not just beautiful for my husband. More. The guy wants more. The woman wants more. She wants to be more. She wants to not only be beautiful for her husband, she wants to be beautiful for people in the public, so she wants to wear a wig. Hashem says be beautiful for your husband, but she's not happy with that. She wants to be beautiful also for other people too, so she wants to wear a wig. The guy says, I want her beautiful all the time, and I want to also be able to look anywhere I want. It's not enough for me. So he wants to also wear a wig. This is what people don't do the calculation. The biggest advocates for wigs are guys, not women. Women will happily do tshuva for this most of the time. It's easier. But that's the problem. When you're addicted to filth, it only leads to wrong decisions. So it's very, very important for guys to understand. If you watch your eyes, your wife automatically becomes beautiful to you. The most beautiful thing you've ever seen. You're happy with what you have. What about if you're not married? We go back to the same equation. This is what Hashem gave you. Hashem gave you the mitzvah of being single right now. Because he says in the Gemara, who are the people that make Hashem happier than ever? Happier than anything. You could say somebody learns a lot of Torah and finishes the Shas. You could say somebody that does kiruv. You could say somebody that is gives tzedakah. You could say a lot of things, right? But what does the Gemara says? Who makes Hashem happy? A young man that's single, that can sin, but doesn't. A young man that could sin with wasting seed, either with somebody or by himself, but he doesn't, he makes Hashem happy, Gemara says. So Hashem, what he didn't give you a wife. Why? Because he's giving you an opportunity to make him happy. Who doesn't want to go up to Shamayim after 120 and Hashem says, oh, here's my son, here's my daughter, you made me so happy. Who doesn't want that welcome? Oh, here's the one that made me happy. You have an opportunity. You're single, be happy with that. Why? You have an opportunity to make Hashem happy. When Hashem wants you to make him happy in a different way, with a wife, with a husband, I'll give you that. Be happy with whatever you have. It doesn't mean don't be ambitious. It doesn't mean don't have ishtadlut and don't try. But don't make yourself obsessed over those things. Don't make your whole life about it. Don't break your rules and the Torah's rules for it. Oh yeah, he's a nice guy. He's not religious, but listen, I have to get married. Or like this guy sends me a thing. He goes, listen, what would you say if my shidduch, she she is not exactly so religious, but she says she'll keep Shabbat. Is this still a good shidduch? I said, well, keep Shabbat is good. It's one of the mitzvot. What about keep modesty? No, she's not into that modesty. How is this a shidduch then? She wants to be married to everybody. Carlos from the supermarket, Steve from work, Sylvester from the construction company. When she's not modest, she wants everybody to look at her. How is this a shidduch? How is a shidduch exactly? Why? So desperate from being alone and not understanding the gdula in being alone. Significance of being alone sometimes. How many mitzvot you can make alone? You have an opportunity to make Hashem happy. Doesn't mean you should be alone permanently. But right now, Hashem didn't give you a wife. Do your best with what you have. But no, you're going to break the rules. You think you can teach Hashem. Oh, Hashem didn't give me a normal wife that wants to be modest, so I'm going to marry this prutza. Oh, what do you think about, this girl is not exactly religious, and she's not exactly Jewish, but she's really nice though. And she wants to marry me. What do you think? I don't think about things like this. I have better hopes for mankind, especially the Jewish people. That they have brains and realize what's allowed, what's not allowed. If you're a Jew, you have to marry a Jew. If you're not a Jew, you don't marry Jews. Simple. Torah says Jews marry Jews. Non-Jews marry non-Jews. If you're a non-Jew, you're married to a Jew, you have a problem. Even if you're a nice person, you go up to Shamayim, they're going to rip you apart. Permanently. Why? You murdered a Jew by marrying him, by marrying her. Nice person doesn't mean anything in Shamayim. Nice only is defined by Hashem. So when a person understands that they can fulfill the will of Hashem regardless of what they have, all of a sudden most of their problems are solved. They don't want more. They just want to do whatever they can with what they have. I have $5 in my pocket. I'm going to do whatever I can with the $5. I got $500,000 in my pocket. I'm going to do whatever I can with the $500,000. I got a house. I'm going to do whatever I can with the house. I have a car. I'm going to do whatever I can with that car. I have a kid. I'm going to do whatever I can with the kid to be the best parent I can be with this kid. Whatever you have, do the best you can. Stop complaining about more. Because what ends up happening is that when you complain about more, you end up doing bad things that are against Hashem. People that complain about money, they end up becoming gamblers many times, either in business or in casinos. Sometimes they gamble in casinos. We already showed you many laws in the Torah. You're not allowed to gamble. Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin, page 24, talks about anyone that's a mesachek bekubiyot. Anyone that's a gambler is pasul le'edut. Cannot be a witness in a Jewish ceremony. You have a wedding, you cannot use him as a witness. You have a court case, you cannot use him as a witness. He's considered almost like a mechalel Shabbat. Why? He's addicted to gambling. If he's addicted to gambling, that means you could buy him off as a witness and change his opinion. Another reason why the gambling is not allowed is because Moshav Letzim, it's a place of clowns, people that desecrate the Torah. Another reason is because it's a place of Chilul Hashem, no Torah over there. A lot of immodesty, a lot of promiscuity. Another reason why it's not allowed is because when you win gambling, you're stealing, because the other side doesn't really want to give you the money. Even though there are rules, they only agree to those rules because they assume they're going to win. So when you win, in essence, you're stealing. You have to go up to Shammai and tell you, oh, here's the thief. What do you mean? I never stole a penny. What do you mean you never stole a penny? You won $500,000 in poker. You're a big thief. You stole $500,000. You know how many people couldn't pay rent because of you? I didn't mean to do that. We had rules to the game. Yeah, there's rules to the Torah also. So gambling is not allowed, but a lot of people also gamble with their olam haba in business because of their addiction to money. They work on Shabbat. They do businesses that are not allowed. They go into the cash advance business. They think it's allowed to be cash advance, charge Jews and non-Jews obscene interest called neshech. Torah calls it neshech. Neshech means like the bite of a snake. The venom kills the person a little bit at a time, eventually it kills them. That's what big interest is. You're not allowed to charge people big interest, whether they're Jews or non-Jews. But their obsession for money makes them do it. Or they do non-kosher businesses. They sell used goods as new. The guy can't tell the difference. It still works. It's just an iPhone. What difference? It still has numbers. Yeah, it's fine. The system itself is fine. That's not the problem. The problem is that you stole his mind. He thought he's buying something new. Therefore, he's paying a brand new item's price. You're not selling him something new. You're selling him something refurbished, renewed. That's theft. That's gezel. Because the price between new and what you sold refurbished is shamayim va'aretz, day and night. Sometimes even half the price or less. That's gezel. Or they sell something they know is a bad good. They know that this thing is not work. Some people sell these things called as seen on TV. And they tell you, oh yeah, put this teeth in your mouth and it makes you look like you have brand new teeth. You order this thing, it gets to your house, and it looks like something you would buy at a costume store. But on the TV, it looks like it's real teeth. These people that are selling it are going to Gehenom. Why? Because they know it's not real teeth, and it doesn't look like real teeth, and the whole thing is a hoax. But they're depending on the fact that 90% of people are too lazy to go and return products. People that sell bad goods, they know they're selling bad goods. It's not a surprise. Don't call them and yell at them. You're wasting your energy. Just process the return without yelling. They know that it's not good. You're not giving them any chidushim. But they're depending on the fact that 90% of people will not file a return because they're lazy, they're busy, they don't feel like doing it. It's only $10, it's only $15. They figure 1 million people say the same thing. It's only $15. They just sold 15 million clean. That's how it works on Wall Street. That's how it works in capitalism. That's how it works in the world. One day, this newscaster came out with a book called IOUSA. IOUSA, it's called. Very good book. Talks about all the crime that the U.S. government makes by their own politicians. How they steal from the government. All these weird things. They have a foundation, the government foundation. They spend $15 million a year to find out what a horse thinks. What a horse thinks when you throw him out of a plane with a parachute. I'm dead serious. This is not a joke. They spend $15 million on this. Now, anyone that believes there are any horses coming out of planes with parachutes is an idiot. But this is just a way for them to steal $15 million. Or they buy all types of tools, and you see that a screw was $80,000. Anyone that thinks that a screw is worth $80,000 is stupider than the screw. It's just that they know that no one's going to do the accounting and the checks and balances to make sure that the screws are really supposed to be 80 cents, not $80,000. Thieves rely on other people's mistakes. Why? They're addicted to more. If we are addicted to more, we are eventually going to be just like them. We're going to do a job on Shabbat even though we know it's not allowed. No, I have an eter. Why do you have an eter? My rabbi says it's allowed. Why, is your rabbi Moshe Rabbeinu? Or Hashem? Which one is he? Because even if he was Moshe Rabbeinu, he can't say it's allowed. No, my rabbi told me it's allowed to tell the goy to tell them to turn on the lights on Shabbat. Why? Oh, it's goy Shabbat. Show me halakha that says that you're allowed to tell the goy to turn on and off the lights and do laundry for you and do everything. And you tell him. If he does it on his own, he works for you all week, it's a different story. But you're telling him to do stuff that you're not allowed to do. Not allowed. No, that's, you're machmir. No, it's not machmir, it's halakha. No, but my rabbi has it in the shul. Okay, your rabbi's going to Gehenom then. What can I tell you? Unless the guy does it by himself, different rules, different guidance. But if you start telling him what to do, how to do, turn on light, turn on off, you only work on Shabbat, but you get paid for the whole week. All these kombinot that people think they're fooling Hashem, this is because of an addiction to money, an addiction to more. You're going to marry the wrong person. You're going to do the wrong business. You're going to do the wrong thing. Why? You're addicted. And that's why the Chazon Ish says the most important midah, most important character trait is the desire to change. If you have the desire to change, automatically it'll be easier for you to overcome all obstacles. Overcome the obstacle of pornography addiction, overcome the obstacle of addiction to money, overcome the obstacle of making bad decisions with men and women, overcome the addiction of all types of things. Why? Because you want to change. But if you don't feel like changing because you think you're perfect, you think that you're good as you are, automatically all of those addictions become worse. Why? You think you're perfectly fine. What's there to change? I'm perfect. When somebody says, you know you should change, you look behind you. Who? You're talking to him? Hey, he has to change, right? Not me. You can't be talking to me about change. You know who I am. You know how much of a tzaddik I am. You know how many mitzvot I do. You start looking at yourself. You start giving the guy an Excel spreadsheet of all your mitzvot and all the tzedakah that you ever gave. That's the problem, Rabotai. A person that says, Shalom Yeli, everything will be good by me, is a person in danger. He doesn't even know it. So this, Rabotai Karim, is something we are all a little bit guilty of. Sometimes a lot of it. All that's required to fix everything we just said is the desire to change. Stop being addicted to more. Start being happy with whatever you have. That's the first step. After that, start looking at where you need to improve. There are some big mitzvot that all of us need improvement on. But there are also some little ones that we don't pay attention to because we figure they're little. Fix the little ones too. Everyone needs to fix something. If you're not fixing something every single day, there's something wrong. There's possibility that you think that you're good enough. And that means that there's a bigger problem than you imagine. You're sicker than you thought. There's always something to fix. Because all of us are, to some extent or another, addicted to more. And sometimes more is good, but many times it's not. More mitzvot is good, but not if it's going to take into account only your own selfishness and everybody else is going to have to suffer for it. If your mitzvah makes other people suffer, that's not a mitzvah. So everything has to be with the right amount, the right place, the right time, just like when you put tavlinim, you put spices in food. If you put too much, the soup is going to come out disgusting. You put too little, it's going to be flavorless. It has to be just the right amount. It also has to be just the right time. You put it when it's cold, it's not going to help you so much. You put it when it's too hot, it's going to burn everything. It has to be the right time, the right place, the right time. This is how Torah Hashem works. It's every day. Every day you work a little bit. B'ezrat Hashem, this helps each one of us get a little bit of a wake-up call of some of the things that we all need to work on, all of our own addictions, whether it's our eyes, whether it's our desire for people to approve the way we look, the way we act, the way we have, all of these different things. All of the women that continue to wear imada's clothes need to do cheshbon nefesh, to ask themselves, why do I care so much about whatever everybody else says, except Hashem? Every woman has to do cheshbon nefesh. Last couple of days, Baruch Hashem, we had a couple of women, tzadikot, that burned their wigs, sent us their video of their wigs, and there's one fantastic one coming out tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem. Woman not only burned the wig, but she gave us a shiur. This shiur, Rabotai, 5 minutes, your life changes. Fantastic shiur. One Talmidah, Baruch Hashem, in Eretz Yisrael. It's in English, Bo. It's in English, B'ezrat Hashem. So tomorrow, look, stay tuned for it. All guys should send this to their wives, this shiur, because it'll give women chizuk. And B'ezrat Hashem, help all of Am Yisrael remove all of the Avodah Zarah from our hearts, all of the Avodah Zarah from our homes, all of the Avodah Zarah from our minds, and get us closer and closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'amen.